Let's see.
Quartering is at
Gonna put it on.
the point here. Supposed multimillionaire living in a mansion, his Rolex watches.
Here he is,
Quartering
guys.
has lost his fucking mind. So here we have Quartering's admission that he's actually fucking retarded. And he admits this in so many different ways. It's fucking amazing. If you
Yeah, I think he has like Asperger's or some shit if I remember correctly.
listen, a lot of people might think that the title of this is, or what I said in the intro video is clickbait. But I assure you, the Quartering admits to being illiterate. He admits to being illiterate. He can't read. Let's hear this one, bud. This is Kino.
You know what, too? That actually makes sense. Remember I kept screaming when he would read articles? I'm like,
yes,
dude, look how nasty that hand is, bro. Like, that's just gross. That's just absolutely gross. Like, imagine having to look at that all the time. You know, that's the thing, bro. It's like tattoos, I can't get past. Especially that bad. Like, if it's a small one on, like, the back of their arm, like, it would piss me off, and it would irritate me, but I could get past it after a while. But, like, bro, this, like, that is just hideous, man. Doesn't matter if she's wearing long sleeves, short sleeves, fucking, you know, whatever, like, it's just, everything is covered in tattoos. Foul.
Did you fucking say the word?
and now we know it wasn't just that he was like checked out and bored or whatever. We now know that he's actually genuinely illiterate and can't fucking read for shit.
Oh, man.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Oh, this hat is terrible. Look at her hat.
Bro, it's a Green Bay Packers hat, so that's Jeremy's football team, okay? So she's trying to be a pick-me for Jared by wearing his sports merchandise.
Oh, she drew it? Is this paper? Is this like pencil crayon?
I actually don't know. Now that you mention it, it kind of does look like it was crayon hit, buddy.
Big support. Let's go for 2.
Let's go!
Arts and
It was a normal
crafts.
deck until 1/4 planet swabbed it. Now it's a poop deck. Very funny. Very funny. Very funny. All right, here we go. And let's go.
Like, I will tell you, like, I mean, I know this is kind of a self-own, maybe, but I just don't care.
Listen, when you start a sentence with, I know this is a cell phone. I know I'm self-felting and humiliating myself. Look at Hannah. Look at how concerned Hannah Claire is
You're
in
in a
this
cell
moment.
phone right now.
She's like, are you really doing this to us again? Are you really giving more content to Kino Casino? How can you do this to us, Jer? How can you do this? She's
Saw
mouth
Davy
worried too.
Jones.
She's like, what
Yeah, his costume's pretty good.
is he going to say next? He talked last time about how he drank breast milk. How much crazier can it get?
Because all that I've accomplished speaks for itself.
All that
I
you
have not-
accomplished.
Buddy.
Well, drinking breast milk's not that crazy, especially if your wife is pregnant, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe under a different circumstance.
Running a clickbait YouTube channel of just the lowest level clickbait algorithm bait delivered with zero passion, zero originality, zero charisma, zero entertainment value. Just a total fucking grift scam for the last 7 or 8 years. All that you've accomplished.
It's dying,
This is
by the way.
crazy, Jer.
It's
Holy
dying.
shit.
And he has the very low end of the
Notice-
income.
Notice he can't even be self-deprecating without pumping himself up and talking about how great he is.
Yep.
That's wild. But here's what he says. Listen to this.
Okay.
Listen to this.
All right.
Read an entire book. I have not read an entire book in 30 years.
Oh,
In
my.
30 years, he hasn't read a book. And this is a guy who wants to talk to you about politics.
I mean, I can understand how you fall into that trap. I was on course to do that personally, but I corrected that luckily. But yeah, it's very easy to fall out of the habit of reading after school because, you know, college and high school, it basically teaches you to hate reading because they force you to read a bunch of fucking terrible shit. You have to read like Pride and Prejudice, To Kill a Mockingbird, Shakespeare, you know, all this fucking, you know, women's type stuff that it's just, for guys, it fucking sucks. So most people get the reading beaten out of them at a young age, especially men, because they're forced by a bunch of women to read like literal women's literature, and it fucking sucks. So most people just get sick of reading by the time they're done with school and just fall out of the habit of doing it. Still looks, bro, looks 20? Do you know what a 20-year-old looks like? This is like a 20-year-old, bro. Maybe. I don't know how old she is, but she looks substantially younger than Melanie. And that's with no makeup. Hold on, let's see if we can find a better close-up. The Evolution of Jessica Alba. That one might actually be a good one. All right, here we go. This is like a 20-year-old. Dude, it's not even close. Like, come on, bro. She has like a way more youthful appearance. So, Melanie is caked in makeup. Like, probably half an inch.
Politics and give you a supposed informed take on the world.
Ring the bell.
Look, you know, like I have
Wait,
no choice.
30 years.
30 fucking years,
How
man.
old is
He's like 40.
Do you like women with a little bit of muscle than that? I like women with toned muscle. You know, I'm not really into the, like, you know, do you lift, bro type of chicks where it's like they're actually like trying to bulk. Like, nah, I don't like that. But if women have a toned, like, athletic body, I think that's great. So, yeah, I guess so. Because most women aren't in shape other than round.
7? So did he not read any books in high school? He must be 48.
I don't want a chick who's like pounding protein shakes and like trying to fucking grow her biceps. Like, yeah, no, I'm good. Or like has a super toned back. That's gross as well. So I'm not looking to, you know, find some chick that's shredded, but you know, she has like definition to her arms and has toned muscles. I think that's fine. But yeah, I'm not looking for a bodybuilder.
Years old.
Wait, what do you mean?
Because back then he's allegedly 42. So he's saying he hasn't read a book since he was 12.
Okay.
How did he pass high school?
Wait, hang on.
A tomboy? No, I don't want a woman that acts like a man.
Did he copy off of his friends or?
He can't read.
That's wild, buddy. That's wild.
He's not 42.
And like Hannah Claire is like, Jer, like I read every fucking day. Like I take this shit really seriously. My father is Peter Brimelow, and you're telling me that my boss, who tells me what to do, hasn't read a book in 30 fucking years and wants people to take his political opinion serious?
Yeah, like why isn't Quartering reading like political philosophy and stuff like that? If he's looking to get into political commentary, shouldn't he read like some, I don't know, introductory like text into political philosophy, and you know, maybe read some, you know, famous right-wing authors, you know, maybe read at least Uncle Ted's little booklet about the Industrial Revolution and its consequences. You know, there's several books that I think, you know, right-wingers should definitely read, but especially if you want to get into talking about politics.
Seriously? What the fuck?
Bro, this is crazy for 30 years. Even
Okay, it gets worse. It gets worse. You know, that's a fucking low bar.
You know?
Even Worski's clearing this shit.
Yes.
This is wild, buddy.
That's nuts.
This is wild stuff. So Hannah has now had to resort to a support animal to get through this
Little
segment.
baby.
She's had to pull in her beautiful baby kitten in order to get her through the suffering. I'm surprised she isn't taking shots off camera. She probably is.
Yeah, the
if
wine,
she's not,
box of wine.
I encourage her to just get drunk because this whole thing is
Reading is for the white man. Yeah. I've started reading Paradise Lost again. I kind of got the urge to read that again, so I'm about halfway through that, but that's a pretty cool book.
a fucking clown show at this point. All right, let's hear Jeremy go. This is insane.
Somebody said read aloud. I do that too. That helps me when I like
Read aloud.
Jeremy is admitting that he can't read in his head, that he has to sound the words.
A lot of red pill books to finish. My personal favorite books, which, you know, duh, is like, I love history books on the Roman Empire. I find that the most fun to read. I have the Divine Comedy. I've read Dante's Inferno, but I've never read what is it, Purgatory, and what is the second one called? I know it's Dante's Inferno and then Paradiso. Is it Purgatorio or something? I don't fucking know the middle one. But I know it's like, you know, hell, purgatory, and then paradise / heaven. But I've only ever read the Inferno portion because I had to do that in school. So I never read the other two parts. I didn't know there were two parts until recently. And I bought like the complete collection. But yeah, the Divine Comedy is 3 like actual stories The first one everybody knows is Dante's Inferno, and you know he works down the 10 layers of hell, or 9. What I think it technically 9. But yeah, then it's purgatory, and then it's heaven after that. I think it's 10 layers of heaven and then 9 layers of hell. I think that was it, or something like that. I don't fucking know. I don't remember. It's been a while. But yeah, that's on my list. Paradise Lost. So Paradise Lost is basically, think of, if you've ever read the Odyssey, it's very similar to that. Like, in the way that it's written. I shouldn't say similar. It's not story similar, but in the format. It's very, very similarly written to the Odyssey or the Iliad, or, you know, the Aeneid, if you're familiar with that too. But basically it's told from the perspective of Satan in the Garden of Eden. So it's pretty cool, honestly. I mean, it's written by, you know, a Protestant, so take some of it with a grain of salt, because, you know, it's basically a, you know, church bad type book. But yeah, overall I think it's pretty good. It's a lot better than, you know, most fiction you'll read today. I'll just put it that way. So even though it takes some creative liberties with, like, the biblical story of, like, the Garden of Eden, it's still pretty good. I like it so far. Is Satan a sassy gay? Nah. If anything, it really, you know, you can tell that a lot of Warhammer lore came from that book. Like the concept of the warp and the warp gods and, you know, all that type of shit. Bro, if you read Paradise Lost, it's like, yo, Pandemonium is literally the fucking chaos realm, or whatever the fuck it's called, the warp. And, you know, like, you know, Satan and the fallen angels are basically the chaos gods in a sense. It's kind of funny. But yeah, Warhammer is incredibly Catholic pilled anyway, but they do have a shitload of inspiration taken from religious writings. Satan was the snake in the Garden of Eden. Yeah. That's the accepted idea for the most part.
Out and read aloud in order to read. This is one of the lowest IQ things I've ever heard. And it actually just baffles me because it's so far from my lived experience. Like, if I glance at text, my brain automatically reads it.
Same.
I don't, like, I actually don't know how you can be this dumb. You know what I mean? Like, is this dyslexia? Like, what is this?
I don't even, yeah, it has to be, because I read fast. I'm a fast reader, and I think you are too, because you read that book, that AVGN book, in like 30 minutes.
But yeah, if you want to, hold on. Let me see if I can find it. If you're gonna read it, find this version. And they're like, I think it's $30. It's cheap. It's not expensive at all for what you're getting. They sell it on Amazon. But buy this version of it. It has some of, like, the coolest artwork, like, ever. It's really fucking sick. Like, it's filled with artwork. So it has, like, these old, like, etchings and prints inside of it, like this. So you get, like, a visual of what's happening and stuff pretty frequently. But, like, all the artwork is done, like, in this style. So if you're interested in reading it, like, get this edition, because it has, like, the really cool illustrations inside. But, yeah.
That's not
But in 30 minutes,
It's like $30, so, and it's huge too. Like, it's not like a small little book. Like, it's a pretty nice, you know, edition. And then on the edges, which is kind of cool too. Here's another picture. You can see right here, like, on all 3 of the edges, they have, like, the art from the actual book itself. So pretty neat. If you like, you know, physical books and you like the hardcovers and you like the little details and stuff, it's a good edition.
Half an hour, it was
Yeah,
done.
I know. Yeah.
Like, you're in the car. You're like, I'm done. I'm like,
Oh,
what the fuck?
man.
But yeah,
Read it out loud. And
I read music for sakes.
There you go, buddy.
I
Listen to
read
Jeremy.
notes.
It keeps getting worse. Look at how Hannah is reacting to this. She's like, I can't believe this guy is my boss.
Oh.
Like, how has this happened to me? This is hell. It really is, dude.
The only words I'll read out loud are words I don't know. Like it's like a username that I'm like, what's that username say?
We're gonna wear out the fucking belt.
Is that?
I like talk about it to myself, and that helps. It's very
What?
I gotta rewind. I gotta.
Hold on. What did he just say?
to me when I like read it out loud, and then I like talk about it to myself.
Look at Hannah. Look at how she's clutching that animal. She's like, this can't be real.
Even the
This
cat's
can't
like,
be my
are
life.
you good? Hey, mommy, are
She's
you
not
good?
okay. Yeah, the cat senses how disturbed she is by this. This is crazy, dude.
So this, I actually, I'm not gonna lie. On the last clip, I thought you were exaggerating, and then I hit play on this. I'm like,
No!
oh wait, it gets worse.
That helps. It's very, very hard for me to read. I can read, but it's very hard.
Is it because he's drunk?
He can't read.
He's
Bro! What the f***? It's hard for him to read. He's illiterate.
Yo, come on. Are we fucking?
This is one of the craziest self-felts I've ever fucking witnessed on this show. I'm not even kidding. Like, even Melanie is shocked at the level of reaction that we've reached here with
Yes.
Jared.
Even like people who can't read pretend they can because they're embarrassed.
Yes.
He's on a show
Why
with
would you ever
94,000
admit
watching.
This is crazy, dude. Your right-wing political commentary, sir. Listen,
Even
the
Ralph
benchmark for being a political commentator should be that you're able to fucking read. Like the benchmark for
Yeah.
anything, any form of employment. If you can't fucking read, it's over. You should be on disability.
90K, yeah, 99,000 watching.
I mean, at the very least, man, if you're doing political commentary, you should be read up on the issues. Like, I feel like that should be pretty like, you should be reading some of the better, you know, known political philosophers, especially on the right wing side of things, in order to better shape your opinions, learn how to phrase things better, and put it into a framework that best fits the message you're trying to deliver. Because, you know, most people that people believe are smart are just very good at, like, knowledge retention. So 99% of what people perceive to be intelligence is just people who can memorize shit that they read somewhere else. And it is a very, very, very valuable skill to have if you can read stuff and remember it well. And the way you do that is just you have to read all the time in order to retain that type of information and, you know, kind of rewire your brain in a way that it starts working that way. But yeah, 99% of the people that most people consider to be like really smart or, you know, intelligent or well-versed on any topic, well, they themselves are not the smart ones. They just read books from people who were smarter than them. And they know how to parrot the information that they got from a different source.
Audio, listen to an audiobook version, right?
This is crazy.
Worse. Can't pay attention.
It's even
He
worse.
can't even pay attention to an audiobook. The death grip that Hannah Claire has on that cat is getting ever tighter.
Yeah, the
The
cat's
despair in her
dying.
heart is deepening. She's dying inside,
That's
bro.
cute.
Her boss just admitted that he's too stupid to even listen to an audiobook. Melanie Mack is thinking to herself, gee, I'm dumb, but even I can listen to an audiobook. How dumb is this guy?
Yo, I don't even know what to say about this guy. Is he okay? Is he sick?
He's not well.
No.
He's obviously insane, bro.
But how is an audio book harder than reading?
Got it.
What got me? Because I've often said like this is a huge weakness of mine.
Oh my God. Whoa, look at this. Look at Hannah. Watch this in 5 seconds. You ready?
Got it.
What got me? Because I've often said like this is a huge weakness of mine.
She shook her head.
She's shaking her head.
It's like-
I mean, can we stop dodging this? Like, Jeremy, like, be real. This lady has no respect for you whatsoever. This is Peter Brimelow's daughter, dude. And you're out here as her boss on this show admitting you can't fucking read and you can't even listen to a fucking audiobook. Just hang it up, bro. I don't know what to say. Like, you don't have what it takes, Jer. You can't fucking read. And, like, you don't even have what it takes. You don't even have the mental faculty to realize that you shouldn't tell people that you can't fucking read. How, like, what is the woke left gonna think, Jer? Holy fuck, man.
And I'm worried about it. So she's like, well, she got me like this audiobook for The Gunslinger, which is like, she's like, oh, you'll probably like this book. Yeah, I think it's Stephen King.
Guys, he can't even listen to an audiobook of Stephen fucking King. Okay? What the fuck are we talking about, man? What are we talking about?
Yo, come
This is like the lowest, buddy, this isn't fucking James Joyce. This isn't fucking Dostoevsky out here, motherfucker. What the fuck are we talking about? This is shit that people should be able to read in the 6th fucking grade.
Everyone's saying 8th grade literature.
Buddy,
I have
this is
trouble.
fucking
Yeah,
like,
somebody get this man a copy of the fucking Hunger Games trilogy so he can at least get to a middle school reading level.
you can't even listen to fucking Harry Potter.
The Outsiders.
Oh my god.
The Outsiders for him is like a big novel, you know?
for the Gunslinger, which is like, she's like, oh, you'll probably like this book. Yeah, I think it's Stephen King. She's like, I know you don't like Stephen King, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like widely regarded as a
How
pretty
would
cool
he
book.
know? How would he know if he likes Stephen King or not when he can't fucking read? Look, just because of his politics? Look at how concerned Hannah Claire is. Like, Hannah, your livelihood, and look at Mel too, their livelihoods are dependent on a man who can't even read Stephen fucking King, and lower than that, can't even listen to an audiobook of Stephen fucking King. But he's going to tell us all his hot takes about the current events of the day. I'm sorry, but fucking, even like, I just don't even know what to say. I'm honestly at a loss for fucking words. Like, how are you going to tell left-wing people they're fucking dumb when you can't read? Like, I don't know what to say.
I couldn't pay attention. Like I just kept like listening, and then like my mind would wander immediately. I just could not.
Oh, there is a comic book Bible. Now that Miss Kitty mentioned it, it's called
The comic book Bible.
So I probably should have put the first clip before this, but Jeremy is at the point where he wants to be a Christian, but he doesn't want to do any of the pesky stuff like, you know, reading the Bible, studying the scriptures to show himself approved, going to church. He's now attending digitally, by the way. He's attending. So he couldn't sell his coffee at church, so now he's attending digitally, and he says it's good. So he's
He
now
goes to digital church.
he goes to digital church. I didn't even want to
Protestantism in a nutshell, man.
bring it up, but it's actually unhinged, okay? It's actually unhinged. We're at the point now. Jeremy couldn't figure out how to read the King James Version of the Bible, which I understand. It's Shakespearean English. It's a little bit more difficult, but he couldn't even understand the NIV, the New International Version, which in my opinion is a shitty translation, okay? So now he's on to, I think, the NLT, the New Living Translation, which is in like modern day colloquial English. He still can't grasp it. So we're at the point now where Melanie Mack is suggesting a comic book version of the Bible.
Is it Eric July?
Maybe it is.
Maybe did Eric
But
July make the Bible?
Dude, it's not even hard to read like old English. All you have to do is get used to it. Like once you get used to it after, you know, having to look up a few words and phrases and things like that, like it starts to stick in your head and you're good. But, you know, that takes effort.
In comic book form?
I'm going to be real. Like, this is fucking
Yeah, you could just buy a study Bible.
insane. The comic book version of the Bible? And you're going to tell other people what to believe? Maybe just keep your fucking mouth shut. I don't know.
called like the Action Bible or something like that, and they just made it into a whole comic book.
That's got to be pretty like
I
long.
hear it's good.
His concern is
about
that the
this?
comic book would be too long.
Then don't read the Bible, sir. He's like audiobook, all the versions, comic book. No, then you're fucked.
And by the
Then
way,
don't do it.
he's going to a church that's like sola scriptura, that believes that, like, you know, he's not even Catholic. Listen, if you want to be this type of Christian, just go to the Catholic church. You don't actually have to learn anything. But he wants to go to Protestant church for some reason, but not have to read the Bible. I don't know what to say.
Don't
I don't
worry.
know what to say.
Hey, don't
It's
worry,
just
Ash.
insane.
Ash, don't worry. I can help him. Okay? Here you go.
Yeah,
Jared?
exactly. Like, bro, the quartering honestly should become Catholic because, you know, in Catholicism, the priest literally explains everything to you. That's like the whole premise of Catholicism is, you know, basically the priest is your teacher. So it's like going to fucking school, but for religion. So, yeah. It's not just, you know, pastors, you know, Bible bumping with a drum kit, you know, demanding you give them $3,000 in order to be saved.
I got the Bible for you. All right, dude. All right, so
Maybe VeggieTales is more his speed, bro.
I think
Bro, there's too many words there. Jeremy's gonna get confused.
all
Oh,
right. Corey,
oh my
you got
god.
a good
So fucking
speed
tough,
for you,
buddy.
dude.
That's so tough. Okay, here he is admitting that he can't figure out the Bible.
Jesus of Nazareth.
Which, by the way, like his attending virtually or whatever, like the whole reason to attend church is for the fellowship. You could just study the Bible on your own.
Yeah.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's continue.
No, I bet you he second screen.
Well, the whole point of church is to, yeah, come together as a community, but also to receive communion or the Eucharist or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I mean, that's the whole point. Is it's you communing with fellow Christians in order to, you know, not only openly declare your faith, but also to take the body and blood of Christ. So, yeah, I mean, the Zoom doesn't really give you that experience.
Church.
Well, okay, so I should have just included this clip. I actually should have. I didn't want to really get into it and be judgmental of his religion or whatever, but he admits that he eats food during it. So he apparently cooked up breakfast. He says he doesn't go on his phone.
On the iPad?
It's a lie. Yeah, he doesn't go on his iPad or his phone, but he admits to eating breakfast while attending virtually. So it's like,
Yeah, no, I imagine he's second screening it while playing Stardew Valley.
oh,
No?
100%. Oh, 100%.
Dude, it's like literally, oh yeah, my fucking Uber Eats just got here. I guess I should find something to watch. Oh, church is going on. I'll just put that on. And then halfway through, he's like, yeah, I'm kind of bored. And then he just switches to like some fucking autistic, you know, TikTok brain rot shorts scrolling.
Can't
The
do
Bible, that's it. Like,
it. The Bible I tried to read, but it's super hard for me. Like it's
what
already
translation
written.
do you use? Have you tried NLT?
That's one I bought. Yeah, I bought the
Okay,
NLT one.
It's like, have you tried
But,
the
like,
retard
Oh my
version?
God, look at Hannah.
Yeah, I bought it day one. Still not helping. It's like, I don't know, man. Like, it's supposed to be pretty fucking simple that anybody could be saved. Like, oh man.
Does he mean he can't read it?
Dude, the only part of the Bible that's hard to get through is like the first few, like, what would you call them? Like books of the Old Testament, I guess. Like Genesis is a pain in the fucking ass to get through. Exodus isn't that bad. It's pretty easy. But Leviticus is pretty boring to get through. But yeah, there's some, especially in the Old Testament, like there's some pretty fucking dry period where it's like, this is the son of this person and this is the son of this person. This is the, it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. Skip. You know, let's get to the actual part that matters here. Like, you know, it's that this is the reason why, like, the Bible is not meant to be read like a storybook. The Bible is constructed in a way that is essentially a textbook for priests. Like, it contains all the information you need, but not every person needs every little detail that's in there. So, it's a, you know, compilation of writings, not a straight-up storybook, like, that reads like an actual, you know, from start to finish, you know, perfectly written story. I thought Genesis was good. No, what I'm talking about is, like, there are entire pages of Genesis where it's like, and these are the sons of X, and then his second son had 3 wives, and of his first wife he had 8 sons, of his second wife he had 9 sons, and of his third wife he had no sons. Of those sons he had 10 sons, and then it names every single one of them. And it's like, I understand why they're doing that. It's to, you know, set up the lineage, to, you know, trace the genealogy. But it's like, damn, bro, it is dry reading to get through. And there's a lot of sections of the Old Testament that do that.
Or he's just like TikTok brain fucking mush bullshit. You know
I think what it comes down to is he just doesn't have the attention span for it because he's just completely fried his brain on fucking alcohol and TikTok and shit. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, man. It can't be that hard. Like, it's really supposed to be that anybody can understand it and be saved. You know? Like,
worded kind of like, it's hard for me to follow.
Is it? I want to read this NLT version and see if it's good. Like, how hard it is.
So now we have the continuation of Jeremy versus Hannah. You can just cut the fucking tension with a knife here, folks. Holy.
Okay.
You know, wait, hey, Hannah Claire Brimlow, do you know a public figure named Peter Brimlow?
I
feel
do.
Like oh, okay. She said, I feel like all Brimlows know each other. Apparently that's true.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if you're making fun of her. Cousin.
Oh, is it like an exotic dancer or something like that?
No, he's my dad. He's a spicy political figure.
By the way, how many jokes are being thrown and how many misses?
Just failing. None of them are landing. No one's laughing. It's so awkward and weird, you know?
5 jokes. Just whoosh, 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 whoosh.
No, I didn't realize you didn't know this.
No, I don't ask questions. I'm a guy.
Lol, look at he's not even coming up. That's how spicy he is. He has an account.
Oh yeah, I don't ask questions. That's how you're able to deceive me about your pregnancy.
She just laughs.
No, buddy, it's so brutal. He just keeps bringing it up. He won't let it go. It's like, just fire her then, Jeremy. If it's this big of a deal to you, dude. Holy shit, man.
Deceive me about my pregnancy.
Dude. I think it's also a seethe because he doesn't have kids.
I don't ask. I keep it. Look, when you work with women as a man, okay.
I like how he jokes. She laughs, but then he goes into like it's real. It's not a joke anymore.
Totally real. Like, he's genuinely frustrated and pissed off, man. Like 100%.
And these girls can attest to this. Not that I think either one of you would be like, you know, trouble, but like, I don't make inappropriate jokes with them. What? I don't call them on private time. I don't have conversations with them that are not like. So when you work with females, there's a certain level of like,
I don't do them. Yeah, okay. Like, do you have to say any of these things? Like,
do you need a given star for this, Jer? Like, what is? You know what I mean?
I don't make AI of them. It's like
he's mansplaining women to women. Like, it's just some strange shit.
I don't ask him anything like.
Right.
Until I started dating Melanie's mom, I didn't even know her dad's name.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Another swing and a miss from Jer. Swing and a miss there.
It really is just a fucking cacophony of failed jokes. All right, what do we got?
It's him versus Hannah again. Round 2. Let's go.
Like, look.
He always tells me to be boring when I go on anything live because he doesn't want to ruin my reputation.
Oh yeah, the storied reputation. The first time I met Hannah Claire, she lied to my face. That's your.
Oh man,
yo,
this is crazy, mad, dude. He's so angry.
Yeah, he has some, you know, obvious frustrations he's holding in.
Laughing anymore? Like, she's like,
dude.
Are you trying to embarrass
she's sad about this, you know? Like, her boss is just disparaging her on the air over and over and over again.
You know what I mean? Hired a girl. What do you think's gonna happen? You know, like, you hired a female. She's pregnant. Yeah, that happens to them.
I didn't know your face. You didn't ask me, are you pregnant?
Well, yeah. Well, normally there's.
I don't think I was like you.
Yeah, normally though, like Melanie Mac had to stand up and do a turn, so I.
Wait, I thought you didn't do anything.
Bro, we know Melanie Mac's not pregnant.
Sexual, then smash her 20
but
seconds
now she
later.
had to stand up and do a turn for you for your gratification there, Jared. No, it is sexual
I
harassment.
actually feel uncomfortable.
Like the audience is supposed to be like, oh, based, our guy is sexually harassing these women and they have no choice but to go along with it or go homeless. Let's go.
Bend over and
this is
spread.
fucking
What?
weird, man.
This is fucking...
Nah, dude, the requirement should have been that Melanie has to bear your child.
Right, had to keep weighing every week.
Yeah, she told me that that's not
around here. Like, here, proof I'm not pregnant.
Yeah, well, she also told me that was inappropriate. See, I didn't know.
What's this show about?
It honestly isn't about jack shit. Okay, so now we're getting into the whole Snap situation, rather. So Jeremy's hot take is that they should turn off Snap because he's upset that people on Snap are eating more than him. And that's
I agree, honestly. We should turn off Snap.
actually what he's saying, which is wild.
Wow. First of all, do you believe? I mean, like Jared.
No, I don't.
Well, maybe in the case of the quartering, but in most normal people's case, yes, people on food stamps eat way fucking better in terms of quantity.
No, at all. I don't at all.
This is the review tech. Oh, I've lost 50 pounds. No, you didn't.
And like interest rates are high. Food is still very expensive.
Are we for real? So Jeremy is now pleading poverty again, saying that he can't afford to eat food. He can't afford groceries. But we just look at this fat and we know it's not fucking true. We know that he's eating enough for 4 fucking people. This is the reality because he's the size of 4 fucking people.
Just left the grocery store and said USDA Prime steak was $32.99 a pound at our local grocery store.
We're back on the USDA Prime steak
podcast in a row.
I know. So because he can't apparently afford to eat the finest steak that there is, it's like it's over and he needs more money and he's destitute. And it's like, Jer, like figure it out, bud. This is insane.
Bro, I completely agree. I always need more money.
Welcome to the steak podcast where we talk about the prices of steak all day. Jer.
Sorry. And they had a steak left over from like Sunday.
What day was this?
My broke ass can barely afford rent.
I guess it was fucking like Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. I think this was yesterday. So he now has this dirty, rotten, fucking maggot-infested steak that he's being forced to eat because he's so poor, guys. So you just have to give him your money now.
For $7 a pound. She's like, will you still eat that? I'm like, yeah, I will. Like, so what? I really tonight. Well, she asked the guy. She's like,
how much a pound?
$7.
Like, yeah, I will.
No way.
Or from like Sunday. So they gave it to her for $7 a pound. She's like,
he's steakless. He's starving.
Bro,
come on, bro.
There's something wrong with that steak.
Do you even believe him, though? Or is this all just lies? Like, I'm not sure what we're supposed to believe. Is he truly destitute and he can't afford to eat anything but the $7 rotten steak?
Yes,
or is he just lying to guilt trip us into giving him money?
He's eating pan-fried flank steak.
Like, that's what he's claiming.
Like, he's got the fucking flank, the fucking hardest steak ever.
Like, will you still eat that? I'm like, fuck yeah, I will. Like, so what? I grilled it up tonight. It's fine. Well, she asked the guy. She's like, is it still okay to eat if he cooks it today? She's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, I'll eat that.
They always say that, by the way.
Come on.
They always go, yep, you can eat it. It's edible. All right, here we go. We have
I'm making some stuffed salmon today. These are neat.
Bitch, I can't afford stuffed salmon.
He can't afford stuffed salmon. He's stuffed salmonless. Buddy, this motherfucker is stuffing his face with salmon every night. Stop it. Buddy, this is where we're at. He's claiming he can't afford stuffed salmon, but the people on food stamps can. What are we doing here? Like, what is this?
Listen.
He's salmonless.
Jeremy, you saying that means you're poor, and there's nothing you could say to make me think otherwise.
You know what I'm saying? But then it goes back to how rich he is, and he's a multimillionaire, and this is where the core of the dispute comes down to. Schrodinger's beggar, Schrodinger's pauper, like Schrodinger's millionaire. Like, what? It just depends on how he's feeling in any given moment.
No, but the thing is, Ash, he doesn't have money. He has expenses. His whole life is breaking the overhead, just making the overhead, like, of all the bills. I'm going to buy stuffed salmon tomorrow, and I hate fish. All right, here we go.
In fact, zero people will die from starvation because of the SNAP cutoff. But I just
classic Jeremy not caring about other people.
It is true. He doesn't care. He actually doesn't care.
Oh man, but you'll see because a lot of Quartering's audience is on food stamps, and they start pressing him about his takes and what a piece of shit he is. It's wild.
Yeah.
And then he starts flip flopping. Oh well, you'll see.
The statistic that they spend more money on groceries than I do is like really making me
I don't believe it. Care? No one believes that.
No. He said groceries, not eating out and delivery. So the likelihood that they do spend more on groceries is pretty high. Now, in terms of all-in food budget, that's a different thing entirely.
Insane. I need a forensic. I need to know what Quartering's grocery bill actually is, and I guarantee you, his grocery bill every month is higher than the highest amount possible to receive on Snap. I guarantee it.
People should get on food stamps. Yeah, I mean, I have like those bucket meals in a bucket that like.
He's eating survivalist
He's having to resort to survival prep meals to survive. The Jim Baker bucket of slop. Really, Jared?
He's got the rations.
Holy,
he's got like those like you have to put water, like astronaut food. You put water on it to make it like.
REI had on sale or something like that, or Costco had them on sale.
No, he's got the Costco survival bucket.
Oh, the Costco survival bucket, buddy.
The Rapture
bucket. What are we doing?
Got the Rapture bucket.
Yep.
And they were like, they last like 20 years. I'm like, yeah, am I going to be excited about eating that? No, but I'm not going to die. And I think they were like,
okay, so Quartering's saying he's so poor that he has to eat the survival bucket that you have in case of a hurricane.
That's what he's saying.
This is like, okay, so
come on. He's
what?
like, listen, guys, you don't need your food stamps. Just buy the survival buckets. Okay, Jer.
You know?
I bought them when they were on sale and when things were good, and they last 20 years.
On sale? He's having to buy the survival bucket slop on sale? He's poor. Come on. Saving them for years?
I have like a year's supply. Like, I'm sure I'd probably,
He's eating survivalist bucket food?
be pretty tired of eating.
Look at Hannah.
She's like, are you for real, Jer? Like, are we going to be fired? Like, what's happening? What's going on?
The $7 steak to the survival bucket?
It, but I wouldn't be dead. Like, people just forget like what it's ever like to go hungry. People,
Are you serious, Jeremy? Other people have forgotten what it's like to go hungry, but Jeremy goes hungry all the time. Like, this is the least self-aware statement in human history, dude. Like, is this guy for real? Holy.
Yo, I'm gonna die.
Is he going hungry every 5 minutes that he doesn't eat, or what?
This is the greatest content in the world, dude. I love his shit.
Yeah. Our friend says, in my early 20s, my accent.
By the way, who said what? Listen to this, how he pronounces this person's name. Watch this.
Yeah. Our friend says, in my
What?
What was that, Jared? Care to repeat for the class?
What the?
Yeah. Our friend says, in my early 20s, my ex and I got food stamps for about a year. She $650 a month for her and my kid. We had so much food every weekend.
Jeremy's audience, there was a lot of people who were like, but Jer, I'm on food stamps. You're going to starve my family. So Jeremy now is like, he's getting pressed by the chat, and he's now going to walk it back and talk about how he would go on food stamps, thus showing that he has no principles at all about this shit, and he's just full of crap.
Yeah. By the way, why is his camera blurry and theirs are perfect?
I don't know. He can't figure it out, eh?
Yeah, it's his OBS. It should be literally the raw video.
Yes, it should be perfect, and theirs should be shit.
Wait, what's going on? Did he have to fucking downgrade back to cable?
It might be. He had to cut back on the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, he's using Starlink.
For her and my kid.
By the way, we got do send thing for 5 subs.
Let's go. Let's get some subs. Big support. Thank you so much.
So much food every weekend. We did a blowout cookout with all the neighbors, $300 each time.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, again, like,
Yeah, he's in 120p. Like, how did
Look at this shit.
And look at Hannah. Like, how did this happen? I don't even know.
I don't blame people for taking it. I just want better management of it. Like, if there's a point where, I'm replaced by a big-tittied waifu AI person and I fall on hard times.
Yo, hang on. We got
by a big-tittied waifu AI person and I fall on hard times.
It's just her. It hurts her inside that this is the show she works on, Oh, man, buddy. That's tough. That's tough.
Times.
A picture says 1,000 words. No. Here it comes from Jer. Here it comes from Jer. Here it comes.
Like, you better believe that I would sign up for food stamps and then I would take my unemployment. I would, you know what I mean? Like,
whoa.
Jeremy's going on the food stamps. He's not missing any meals, guys.
I don't like people stealing my money and then living better than I do. I think that's a...
So this guy, quartering, is at the point here, supposed multimillionaire, living in a mansion, his Rolex watches, $50,000 saltwater tank aquarium, classic car collection in North Dakota, telling us that somebody on Snap, somebody in literal fucking poverty, lives better and eats better than him. But we're not allowed to call him poor, right? Is that really where we're at?
I honestly believe that he is losing all of his money, bro. I believe. I believe it's gone.
Yes, I'm in a good spot now.
Here we go.
Whoa.
42.
So I just want to remind everybody that quartering just a few short weeks ago was telling us a story about how he built this business to be a multi-million-dollar business in his 20s and 30s, and he was second in command of the business, making well over $250,000 a year. I'm pretty sure it was something like this.
Yep.
But now he's going to tell all of us that he was really struggling until just a few years ago. I also want to remind everybody that back in 2018, the quartering told Coach Red Pill that he was already a multi-millionaire who was far richer than Gonzalo Lira would ever be.
They had a war about it.
Yeah, they had a huge debate over who had more money. But now revisionist history quartering is telling us he was always broke, he had no money, and now he's finally made it, and people should celebrate his success, and he overcame adversity, and he tells this big sob story. Let's give it a listen.
Yeah.
But for most of my life, we lived paycheck to paycheck. And for the vast majority of my adult life, we didn't have quote unquote extra money. I didn't have extra money until I was probably 38 or 39.
Okay,
and
so this guy is claiming that until 2022, he had no extra money. Didn't this guy buy a fucking airplane before then?
Yes. You know what?
I'm pretty sure he bought this airplane in 2020, which is before the time frame he's talking about. No, when did he buy the plane?
Man, everything leads back to the plane, doesn't it?
It really does. The plane is just such an egregious example of lavish, exorbitant, unnecessary spending that once you've gone that far to purchase a fucking plane and flex it to everybody, nobody's going to feel bad for your financial problems after that. They'd be like, oh, you should have had it on lock. You just bought a fucking plane, dude.
You look around and see people who have the latest smartphone and have a $0 copay on their insurance. My wife used to work at...
So he's now going to claim his wife used to work at Walgreens. Now, he claimed for years that he was making anywhere from $250,000 to $500,000 a year as a marketing executive before he went to YouTube. And now he's going to tell us he was penniless. His wife was working paycheck to paycheck at Walgreens. It's a true American underdog story, guys. What is the actual truth? I want the tax return since this guy was 18 years old. This guy is so full of fucking shit. The idea that he can just come on and say anything and clear it up, we need documentation. It's lies upon lies upon lies. It's like dark side filter. What is the fucking truth, Jeremy? Let's figure it out, boss.
And also, it changes daily. It's not even like, a few years ago he was saying, no. Every day, it's a new story.
Walgreens, and she would tell me, these ghetto fucks would come through with a brand new iPhone and have a $0 copay on $4,000 worth of medication that they were just selling anyway.
What?
So it's broken.
Yep, smurfing. Very common. Very fucking common. Because the thing is like, I believe, I forget which benefit program it is, but it gives you money to use on over-the-counter pharmaceuticals and that type of shit. But
these are the real rich people in America.
They're like selling all their drugs.
Does anybody have a $0 copay? Like, I don't know. Like, maybe the guy's on fucking Medicaid. I don't know, man. Like,
I could, we couldn't even afford insurance for a long time, and like even when we did, I didn't have $0 copays.
Wait,
who has? I don't think anyone has a fucking $0 copay.
No.
But
you do on the government shit.
this guy's telling me at his $500,000 a year marketing job where he was second in command, there was no fucking health insurance, or he couldn't afford fucking health insurance. Does anyone have health insurance then in America? Like, how much do you have to make? $10 million a year to have fucking healthcare? Like, I just don't believe this motherfucker. Like, what are we talking about here?
You know what his story reminds me of? Very reminiscent to Slumdog Millionaire. You ever watch that movie?
Oh yeah, yeah.
He acts like his life was he's running on trains, and it was, he was in a sex cult where he had to escape.
Or zero. Like it was like one hospital visit, and I was bankrupt. One emergency vet visit, and we had to spread it out across credit cards, and it took months to pay off.
Do you believe him? So like, we're meant to believe that until 3 years ago, Jeremy couldn't afford to take his pet to the vet.
He had a mansion.
You had a fucking mansion, sire. You have a fucking Tesla Cybertruck, dude. Like, what are we talking about here?
What's the vet bill? Like the most was like what, $2,000 for serious surgery?
No, $2,000 for a serious surgery? Hell no. Especially if they're talking Canadian, bro. If you get a dog a root canal, which is probably as low as a surgery goes for a dog, and that's to fix one of their teeth, that's like $1,500 by itself. If you want to get like a cyst removed, if they have hip problems, that's several thousand, and God forbid they ever get cancer and they need like actual, surgery, then it can be up to 10 to 20,000 depending on how much, treatment they need. So vet bills are insanely expensive.
He had no savings at all to even afford a vet bill. It's when all the emergency room and the medical bills would bankrupt me. Like, you can almost buy it. But I don't, because the job that he had should have had fucking medical insurance if he's telling the truth about that job.
Yeah.
Has he just been filthy broke this entire fucking time? Like, totally destitute with a fucking tin cup and an eye patch? Like, that's what he's trying to tell us. But by the way, he said that he's now poorer now than he was 3 years ago. Yeah. But the story he's telling us here is that, it was only about 3 years ago that he got good and was able to afford emergency expenses. What is this?
Yeah,
And
by the way, his YouTube channel, I'm doing the math on it. It makes $15,000 a month.
Oh man.
Minus Melanie's pay, minus this, minus bills. He's spending it all. He's not making money. He's now digging into his savings, 100%.
Oh yeah.
It can't be more than $15,000. He's getting what claims to be between $10,000 and $40,000 a month. His videos are only 10 minutes. Therefore, one ad. Therefore, we're looking at $15,000 a month.
Yeah.
So you kind of.
Which, by the way, $15,000 a month. You should be living on the greatest steak every day.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nobody who's making $15,000, $20,000 a month who's struggling to fucking eat.
Yeah.
Unless their expenses in every other area of life are way through the fucking roof and out of control, man.
Yeah.
See this, this. I don't know. Is it envy, or I don't know what the correct emotion is, but like
greed. Is that what you're looking for?
I think that's at the core of a lot of it. Yeah, I'm in a good spot now, but I wasn't always there.
Are you?
I don't know. Like, this is the thing: is the guy has always told us that he's fabulously wealthy. Like, and now suddenly it was such a struggle, and we all have to feel bad for him and celebrate his underdog story. Like, this is bullshit, dude.
Story. Fuck off, bud. Look, this guy is fucking nuts. You buying subs right now? Oh, it's from the Charlie Kirk bump.
Because I can pay my bills now doesn't mean I think people should be buying name brand shit and all this other stuff when I'm paying for it. By the way, I was still paying for it when I was just barely getting by too.
Right.
Like,
so they can't pay for name brand when you were poor?
Yeah.
I never took SNAP benefits or anything like that.
But you just said in the previous clip that he would if he needed to.
Yeah. So
you're no better than anybody else, Jeremy. And my whole thing on it is this. Like, yeah, I really don't believe it's the government's job to do charity or whatever. But here's the thing. You've got all of these fucking dirty pieces of shit out there just scamming the fucking system. If you are a person who's worked hard and you fell on hard times, use the fucking system.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Get on the system then. But don't stay there. Don't become trapped within it. The real problem of that system is it's creating generations and generations of learned helplessness people who believe that the government's job is to provide for their every fucking need. Like,
by the way, he's going, I grew up paycheck to paycheck. Hey, Jared, you know who else did? 99% of us.
Everybody is fucking living paycheck to paycheck. Well, not everybody. Like,
but we grew up. Most people grew up with like not 100 video games and like everything they ever wanted. You know what I mean? We had one rich friend, and he was like, he had a pool, indoor pool and stuff. We were all like, oh my god. He's acting like I was the only one who struggled. Shut up, Jer.
Only thing, dude, if this guy ever fell on hard time, he would be the first person with his fucking hand out.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna sit there and judge other people. Like, fuck you, Jer.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. Like, fuck you, Jer.
They bought name brands. Whoa.
I even paid for that. I paid for, they call it Badger Care or something like that, but I still paid $500 every 6 months for like basically.
Listen,
you won't go bankrupt.
As a multimillionaire, his hand is still out, begging working people for $6 a month. Yeah. This is crazy, dude.
I get $6, guys.
So I still had to pay for like everything out of pocket. It's just that it had like a $20,000.
By the way, can I say this? Okay, beyond him being poor, the women are so fucking bored. This is a convo.
Oh my god!
I don't
well,
even
he's
want to
just
have
giving
with
a
a
fucking jerk off session.
Yeah,
Worse than
like,
where it's,
yeah.
look at how great I am and what I've overcome, and I'm a millionaire now. And done it. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Oh, man.
Nobody fucking cares. There's a reason nobody's watching this shit.
Yep. It's just very contradictory because it's like the constant flexing, you know? But then it's also like, oh, yeah, I need money so badly. Please, donate. Just 10 members, please. Anything. Go to thequartering.com and sign up for my Coffee of the Month club and give me $6 to join my Discord. And, make sure to use code quartering when you buy a computer. And, now I'm going to put a fucking ad roll in the. It's like insane, man. It's insane. Just infinite monetization. It's content made for the purpose of monetization. Bruh. We just got plenty of these now. Hell yeah. Dude, do you think this is what Raymond means when he says a 19-year-old with a perfect peach ass? It's pretty much as good as it gets. The curve should be backwards, not sideways, I guess. I don't know how it works, to be honest. Another one.
Standard Gamer Streamcast guy here.
I didn't hear about a Halo 2 and 3 remake, but
Talking about Halo because, it's now been about a week since they initially revealed the Halo 1 remake.
if they're remaking Halo 2 and 3 in the style of this new one, they can keep it, honestly.
Called Campaign Evolved, and a lot of people seem to very much not like the look of that remake. Just the idea of basically making the original game again seems a bit odd. Well, a new leak has just come out about an hour ago that apparently they're trying to remake Halo 2 and 3 as well. But none of them are going to have multiplayer. The entire remade trilogy will just be only campaign. It's basically going to play exactly like Halo Infinite, but with new remade cutscenes of the original games. I want to talk about this because it feels like there seems to be a lot of anger, both from Xbox fans, from Halo fans, even a lot of PlayStation people are basically just posting question marks about why would you go back and remake these again? Because keep in mind, we already have the Master Chief Collection. The Master Chief...
Yeah, but I would love to get an actual remaster of Halo 3, but not in Unreal Engine. So, at this point, I'd rather just not have it than actually have it, but it is what it is.
Collection already has full remakes of the first two games, and in my opinion, they're very, very good, but they also include the classic multiplayer, the important multiplayer. I love the original Halo trilogy online more than anything else. I straight up love the busted balance, the silly battle rifle headshots, how OP the shotgun can be at times. I feel like the multiplayer is the magic of OG Halo. So going back and remaking them again, but lacking that, this seems odd. But let's take a look at the concerns and the complaints. Let's get into it. Hi, hope you're having a great day. And if you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. So, I originally saw this on this account called Destiny Bulletin, and it was also posted very much by this account called Halo Leaks, or Leaks Infinite. Now, this guy has been posting a lot about the Combat Evolved remake. This basically this original version of Halo. He's one of the first people I saw really talking about the fact that it's going to be a modernized version of the original game, featuring sprint, featuring new updates, and completely lacking multiplayer. Apparently, there is a bunch of different sources that are all talking about the fact that essentially everything is being banked on Halo 7. Halo 7 apparently will have a full campaign, and it's also going to have a lot of multiplayer. Now, I do not like this, that apparently, according to a lot of the leaks, the discussion is that Microsoft is afraid to greenlight a full budget Halo project. They're afraid to do Halo 7 until they have enough confidence in the idea of the brand. And the reason I don't like that is that, honestly, A, Halo was already huge. Halo was already great. The original games are still beloved. Greenlight a Halo 7. And B, just make good games. You know, nobody cared about Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 that much. Baldur's Gate 2 were tiny niche games. They're fun. But when Baldur's Gate 3 came out and became the biggest game on the planet, that's because it was already fantastic. You know, think about something like Battlefield 6. The last Battlefield game, 2042, was a wet turd in a crowded elevator, just sitting there on the floor, stinking stuff up, making everything extremely awkward. Then Battlefield 6 came out, and it's so fantastic, everybody bought it, everybody played it, everybody loves it, right? My thing is that if you make a good game, it doesn't need that built-in fan base. You make the fan base by making the good game. But getting back to it here, Halo 2 and 3 are being remade. Yes, they will have sprint, no multiplayer, only campaign, full remakes.
Then it's not a full remake. It's just another fucking shitty Unreal Engine 5 port. That's it. Pitiful, man. Absolutely fucking pitiful. Yeah, let's remove the most important part of Halo 2 and 3 and repackage the fucking campaign with the shitty Unreal Engine 5 coat of paint on top. Wowie zowie, man. Just what everyone was asking for.
And everybody's like, oh god, Halo 3 finally getting remastered, but it has sprint. Halo 3 with sprint, finally an enjoyable version of Halo 3. Oh my god. All right, keep this franchise alive, whatever it takes. I think Infinite is really underrated, super fun. I think they just screwed the pooch with the rollout. Completely fine with them going down the Resident Evil route.
That's funny.
Now you'll notice it. People keep bringing up this comparison over and over and over again. The Resident Evil remakes. Now,
this is not the Resident Evil route. Nope.
You guys know this. My two favorite things on the entire planet are Final Fantasy and Resident Evil. And I think the Resident Evil remakes have been perfect. They're faithful. They expand the original ideas. They add in new story elements. They have cool new bosses. They've got extra stuff, right? I love the Resident Evil remakes so freaking much. And I like the idea that part of what they do is they canonize the original stories. They go back and they basically just add to it instead of subtracting or changing or cutting stuff, right? Well, other than the Resident Evil 3 remake cutting the clock tower. But my point is the fact that if they tried to do that, I like the idea on paper, but I have to admit that it just feels a bit odd in that, honestly, making them without the multiplayer to me is still just the biggest downside of it. Like, it just feels so lacking. I'm also a bit curious about how much they're going to change. Like, already, it does seem like adding sprint to a game that didn't have sprint, you're going to have to change the AI. You're going to have to change a lot of the layouts. There was a lot of skips and stuff you basically couldn't do because Master Chief is so slow in those early games. Are they going to have to change the maps? Are they going to have to change the map size? Stuff like that, right? Some of the stuff they see, it looks like some of the stuff in the Halo Combat Evolved remake, there is talks that they're going to be completely remaking how the Flood look. That's an interesting idea. The fact that they're adding in a bunch of weapons from later Halo games into the Halo 1 remake, I got to admit, that gets me extremely excited. This is still cool to me, right? But some stuff like the Sentinel Beam being in the Halo remake, that's a bit odd. But let me take a look at it. I saw this over on the Reddit. Halo 2 and 3 being fully remade. Yes, they will have no multiplayer, only campaign, full remakes. Multiplayer is being saved for Halo 7. I still feel like that's such a massive mistake.
Worthless.
But Halo Kiwami. In case you don't know this.
Instead of giving everybody what they want, MCC on other platforms, and then maybe just adding those as graphical updates to MCC. Nope. They're giving everyone exactly what they don't fucking want. Shocker.
They obviously remade all the Yakuza games, which are now called Like a Dragon. But while they were remaking all the different Yakuza games from a million years ago, they called them the Kiwami series, where they added in new mini-games and better voice acting and stuff. It is funny, the idea of them remaking them all Kiwami style. Master Chief Collection Anniversary. I'm kind of peeved that this is how I'm getting Halo 3 remade, but to be frank, even as the one in the trilogy that aged the best, I'm pretty excited about how they'll redo the cinematic. Some of the character models like Miranda and Lord Hood definitely could use a cleanup. I have no idea what they could add to Halo 2 though. Halo 2 Anniversary is genuinely so good of a remake, it almost seems like an incremental improvement compared to the jump from Halo Combat Evolved to Campaign Evolved. 4-player co-op is the one thing they could add to Halo 2. It really is the only reason I'm excited for the remake. This is the thing. I just feel like the fact that we're discussing the most minute of changes here, right? So I'm understanding that this, as Halo 7 is a multiplayer-only game, or Halo 7 will be the next Halo with multiplayer, and these are just campaign remakes. People are clarifying Halo 7 will have single-player and multiplayer, but I still feel like I'm just in a spot. So basically, they're remaking the Master Chief Collection again. They're going to milk each installment like they're on PlayStation. Yep, same with Gears. Halo 3 in particular has never been remastered, remade, but otherwise, I mean, these are full-blown campaign remakes, so not really. Master Chief Collection is just an up-res suite of the original 6 games. It's a cool collection, but this is a different endeavor. Can I be honest? I feel like this feels so bleak in a way, right? I'm just in a spot where I love the original Halo more than any other Halo. I have a tremendous amount of sentimental value. In fact, one of my best friends when I was a kid was this kid named Matt. Somehow his grandfather died. He inherited a bunch of money, and we were all very broke kids, obviously. He ended up buying me my original Xbox that I got, I think in 2002, 2003, somewhere in there. He bought my original Xbox. He bought it for me with Halo just because he wanted somebody to play it with. That was so revolutionary. I put
David with the 5. Yeah, we can check that out.
Thousands and thousands of hours into original Halo, and I love it so much. The idea of going back and remaking it again, I'm not even opposed to that idea. I feel like it's the lack of multiplayer, and I do feel like I am starting to get to a spot where the remakes of remaster, it is getting a bit odd. I love the original Gears of War. I love Gears of War 1, 2, and 3, like most sane Gears of War fans. I love all the Gears of War games, but especially that original trilogy is so tip-top. I don't want them to keep remaking a bunch of Gears of War games. I want them to make new Gears of War. I want Gears of War 6. I'm excited for Gears E-Day and stuff, right?
I'm not excited for Gears 6.
I'm in a spot where this feels like it not only lacks creativity, I feel like it kind of signals how much Xbox has even given up.
I wish they would just leave Gears of War alone, in all honesty, and just port the old games.
Right? If this is the plan for the next, 6 years, are they going to drop one remake every 2 years? Are they going to drop one remake every year? Apparently it's being done by Virtuous. I don't know. Something about this just feels pathetic. Does that make sense? I don't know. Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. I had to film this video like 3 times because first I forgot to turn on the audio recording, then I forgot to turn on the video recording, and the third time, this light flipped off. So if anybody ever thinks I'm good at my job, I promise I'm not.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.
Let's see. Yeah, it's pitiful, man. Truly. The Halo franchise has just been so neglected and mistreated. It should be so much more relevant than it is today. Yeah, this is so accurate. Just, over... I don't know what it is with, Indians and making street food, but it's like, how much waste can we create, as humanly possible to make one item? It's so accurate, So accurate, man. It's just like, how big of a fucking mess can you make to make the most basic shit ever? No, we just need to, like, wall them off. Digitally and physically. They don't deserve the colonization. Look how ungrateful they were last time, and now what are they trying to do constantly? Band-aid the old British architecture and, you know, infrastructure. Many such cases. Many, many such cases. Like, I bet you Jamaica's probably wishing that they had, you know, access to British resources right now. Bruh, she almost looks AI, which obviously there's some smoothing, but still. Damn. And there are some people that will argue with you that, you know, that somehow an Asian chick is better. But nah. No, it's not AI. It just has one of those, like, video filters on it that, like, smooths the, like, skin. It's probably a real video. It's just, it has, like, a AI, like, smoothing, you know, filter. Kind of like an Instagram filter. That was an Asian chick? No, she was from Portugal. That was a Portuguese woman. Wait, we finally know why Xbox chose greed? Bitch, we already knew that from the very beginning. What the hell? Hold on.
Salutations, everybody. It is Maddie here today. Hope you're all doing absolutely excellent. And as we know...
What type of retarded-ass clickbait is this, bro? Like, everybody knows the reason why Xbox is doing what they're doing. They just want more money. It's been the case for pretty much every single company since the inception of capitalism. They just want more money.
No, Xbox has made a lot of really aggressive business moves over these last couple of years. Everything from a multi-platform push, which has now just had an exclamation point put right next to it with Halo, going over to PlayStation, all the way to console prices going up, Game Pass prices going up, and of course the attempt at pushing video game prices to $80 in their own ecosystem, beginning with, out of all games, The Outer Worlds 2. The greed has been real, and the question has been, why? What was the marching order given? When was it given? And we've got the whole layout here thanks to an article from Jason Schreier of Bloomberg. Let's go through it and break it down. If you're new here and you're into what's going on with Xbox, consider subscribing. So the article is titled, Microsoft pushes Xbox division to hit higher profit margins. Simply put, over the last 2 years, executives at the Seattle-based software have set an across-the-board goal of 30% accountability margins, a term Microsoft uses in lieu of profit margins, according to people familiar with the business. The gaming division, which includes dozens of studios, has responded by canceling products, raising prices, and slashing thousands of jobs to the people who asked not to be identified, discussing non-public information. The average profit margin in the video game industry in recent years has ranged between 17% and 22%, according to estimates from S&P Global Market Intelligence, while coming in between 10 and 20% over the last 6 years at Xbox. Court documents from 2023 revealed that Microsoft's gaming business had a 12% profit margin for the first 9 months of the company's 2022 fiscal year. The new goal, which hasn't been previously reported, is at the outer range of what a gaming studio can typically reach in a boom year, said Neil Barber, an analyst with S&P Global. A 30% or better margin is usually reserved for a publisher that is really nailing it. Now, when was this marching order given and who did it? Let's keep going. In the past, game makers at Xbox weren't asked to hit specific numerical targets, said the people, and were largely told to focus on making the best games possible without worrying too much about finances. The new target was implemented in fall 2023 by Microsoft Chief Financial Officer Amy Hood, whose team has taken a larger role in the gaming business in recent years. 2023 is easily the most important year of this generation for Xbox, simply because so many things that happened were exactly as we envisioned entering this generation. Remember, we started this generation saying, hey, Xbox, please do what PlayStation did to you. Like, just compete with really exciting exclusives. And so when we saw Xbox going and buying Bethesda, we went, all right,
I don't really even think it's, really exciting exclusives is the biggest thing. It's just make something that's actually good. I don't really think I needed PlayStation-style games from Xbox. I wanted Xbox-style games from Xbox that were, actually good. But the problem is every single one of their franchises was basically in free fall. Halo was going downhill. Gears of War was downhill. Forza Horizon, I think, is starting to get kind of stale, but it's like their franchises were just basically in free fall. And then on top of that, they stopped signing good third-party exclusivity contracts.
See what you're doing now. You're going to buy these companies up and release their games exclusively. And 2023 really represented that. There's Starfield, there's Hi-Fi Rush, there's Redfall. All these were exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem, and they represented a range of quality from Xbox. Starfield was the most high-profile game of the year for Xbox and was a top 10 selling game in one of the most important years in gaming history, 2023. But also Hi-Fi Rush to me represented that old spirit of Xbox, that Sega-fused spirit of the original Xbox. And then you throw in the old guard there in Forza Motorsport coming out that year, and it's like, yeah, this is what we envisioned with Xbox. But they also continue to be aggressive and pursue Activision Blizzard, which they also purchased that year. That brought the eye of Satya Nadella and Amy Hood onto the gaming division, and why we've seen increased scrutiny since then. You see, leaving 2023, for those who have not paid close attention to the Xbox community, what was basically happening was everyone was riding high. Like, that was the year we wanted from Xbox. There was an exciting Shadow drop. There was a high-profile exclusive. There was the old stuff like Forza. Awesome. And, again, we try to forget about Redfall that year. But nonetheless, entering 2024, it's like, okay, Bethesda's on a roll. You've got Xbox Game Studios pumping out a bunch of games. Now Activision is in the fold. It's going to be like a new exclusive every quarter. How is this going to fuel Game Pass? Prices are staying the same. This is really exciting. We saw then how the rumors started to break out. All of a sudden, Xbox is going multi-platform. It's the 4 games only, which we all knew was not going to be the case. All that you have seen over these last couple of years is because of a ridiculous 30% profit margin that's been set. Like, above and beyond average, okay? If the average is 17 to 22%, you see that Xbox is 10 to 20%. I understand why you might want a little bit more. I'm going to be fair for a moment here, okay? Ignoring the really bad choices they made. I understand why if you make the biggest acquisition in video game history, and then you also have Bethesda, and then you have a ton of Xbox Game Studios, and you have a really appealing before the price hike subscription service, and you have cloud gaming, I would also look at it and be like, we're pushing 10% profit, maybe? Like, you're still making a lot of money when you start to quantify that in the millions and millions and millions of dollars that this company makes. But I understand looking at the percentage going,
it's not good. But again, that's a 10% profit margin when you ignore the fact that they just spent $80 billion. Because again, Microsoft paid for that. The Xbox division did not. So Microsoft is probably using some sort of accounting method behind the scenes for their own internal purposes to, amortize that loan over a certain amount of time. Essentially, they basically, in theory, loaned the Xbox division that $80 billion for acquisition, and they expect over a set number of years for that $80 billion to be recouped in addition to what the division was already making. So that's where the value of the synergy comes in from owning a studio like Activision Blizzard or Bethesda, is the fact that you can operate it leaner and make more money than it was making previously in order to realize, an additional value on top of what you spent on the studio. So my guess is Microsoft is using some sort of, internal accounting in order to basically hold Xbox accountable in order to earn back that 80 billion that they spent buying those various studios.
We have enough content that should be able to push us to a little bit of a higher margin. If Xbox said, we want to push more consistently into the average range, let's do that, and that's what they did, I would understand that. But when you set 30%, it's like we're going from below average to way above average to a place where analysts are saying, this is where you're really nailing it. Xbox as a publisher has not really nailed it. It's been a good generation for them in terms of output. I look at games really from Bethesda mostly, though. Hi-Fi Rush, Indiana Jones stick out in my brain as like amazing moments. Or Double Fine's Psychonauts 2, which really wasn't an Xbox exclusive, but a lot of Xbox Game Studio stuff. The main one I could really give kudos to off the top of my head is something like Forza Horizon 5. Otherwise, things like Halo Infinite, South of Midnight, Avowed, these did not meet my expectations at all. The Outer Worlds 2 happened to exceed it, though, as did games like Grounded. Pentiment was a nice little treat. So I would define the output as good, but that's why they're getting the results on the profit margins of good, because there hasn't been that, say, outpouring of quality like we got with the PS4 generation from PlayStation, where it was just like, oh, you know God of War is going to be amazing. Oh, you know Horizon Zero Dawn is going to kick ass. Like, Spider-Man is going to be amazing. You knew, and that just drove a lot of people in, drove a lot of interest. With Xbox, they failed to establish their quality marker, and that really was with, I think, Halo Infinite. Like, Halo Infinite being so troubled, being delayed out of the launch window, and coming out in what I think was a solid state. I think we gave Halo Infinite a lot of crap, rightfully so, but a lot of it was the post-launch support and the lack of preparation on 343's end.
What is he talking about? It came out in a solid state. No, it did not. It literally didn't even have fucking game modes available to select when you were matchmaking. That game launched in a terrible fucking state. And on top of that, the maps that were included in multiplayer are some of the worst in Halo history.
Like, the mishandling of that franchise says everything about the Xbox brand, and that's where things really started to go off the rails. Here's the real kicker to me, this next line here. Not every project is expected to hit the 30% profit threshold, said the people, but many Xbox developers and groups have been presented with this target. Moving forward, games that are either cheap to make or deemed more likely to generate significant revenue windfalls may take priority over riskier bets, said the people, while Xbox's floundering hardware division may face a significant rethinking, which we just talked about earlier this week. That's why I wanted to do that first, was looking at like what the future of Xbox is, which is effectively a PC, and pretty much using a console skin to keep the appeal of the console for the console bros like myself and the sisters out there, while at the same time kind of just shoving them all into a PC space without them really knowing it. Kind of Trojan horsing it a little bit. But two things come to mind here when I read these sets of quotes here. First and foremost, that developers are being made aware of profit thresholds. What does that incentivize them to do? Okay, I have this really cool creative idea that I want to pursue. I can't really do that because that's probably riskier. And so what I'll do instead is think about how much money my project can make and present only safe bets. I think, in all fairness, Xbox has kept this generation pretty interesting with the games that they have put forward. Something like a Hi-Fi Rush. Hell, I didn't like it that much, but something like a South of Midnight, which should not have taken nearly as long as it did, but games like that, or Pentiment, I do appreciate a lot. Now all of a sudden,
Jesus, man, the glaze.
These are games that I just don't think we're going to see really at all, because I know they qualify as the cheap type of game that you sort of fly under the radar. Like Keeper came out recently, that was so under the radar that where like Xbox, when they're going through like their earnings report, won't even notice that as a dent. But it's incentivizing developers, artists in turn, to think about purely profit to get their games across the board. And there's a push and pull in that. You have to make something that speaks to you and myself, the players out there. At the same time, you need to make something that speaks to an investor, someone who's been through the pitching process. This is a perfect encapsulation of what it's like right now. Everyone we pitched to was looking for like pennies in the terms of budget, simply because what they wanted was something so cheap that if it failed, obviously it doesn't affect them at all. But it's games like, I look at Balatro as an example, where it's like one person, obviously a very tiny budget because of that, and it's just a cheap game that goes viral and makes so much more than the investment they put into it. So it's those games that are just so cheap that you can't worry about failure, and then it can just generate that significant revenue through like viral marketing, through word of mouth, that sort of thing. Or if you're a big company, like say an Xbox, and you own Fallout as an IP, this is what
David with the 5. Meanwhile, Nintendo should have a 50% margin on their game minimum. Yeah, Nintendo's margins are insane. So Nintendo makes a shitload of money. Which, you know, again, everybody's so critical of Nintendo, but they're the only company that has stayed true to the purest form of the gaming market. And they've done very well as a result.
talked about a few months ago. It gets complicated. Oh yeah, we're gonna get a lot of Fallout. We're gonna get a lot of Elder Scrolls. There's a selfish part of me that's like, hell yeah, like Obsidian after the Outer Worlds 2, I think still should absolutely make a follow-up to New Vegas, because basically that game is New Vegas in space in a lot of ways. But what if Obsidian wanted to make the Outer Worlds 3, but because of how terrible the marketing was for Outer Worlds 2, it kind of bombed the sales of the game, and Xbox is like, well, you could make that, but like, we know what happens if the sales underperform. You need to hit that 30%. Will it hit that 30%? Okay, I guess we'll go make this instead. It starts to encourage safe bets. And again, I understand, I'm not gonna talk like a seasoned vet, but I understand the tug of war that is. Like, you do need to make something appealing, and I think there is a little bit of incentivizing developers to kind of wake up, smell the roses, and be like, hey, we have to give the player something they want, but there is also that shared relationship of it's gotta be something they want to make too. So when I feel like developers are being informed, like, these are our new profit targets, it just changes the way you think about a project. You're no longer thinking about, I want to make something that's going to resonate with a lot of people, or something that's good and will catch the attention of a lot of people. It's just, I want to make something that's going to make money for you so I don't lose my job. And I say this as someone who loves PlayStation in their games, but if you want a good example of what that feels like, look at PlayStation this generation. I'm not trying to undersell the third-party exclusives they did that were interesting, you know, your Stellar Blades, of course, Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth, no longer exclusive now, but formerly were. There are great games like that. Returnal sticks out as another one that kind of breaks that PlayStation mold. Like, they do have these new exciting games that are coming from these special deals they make. However, when I'm looking at like their first-party output, it was a
yeah, but Final Fantasy VII is not a PlayStation game.
A lot of safe choices this generation, right? Every single generation of PlayStation was introducing new mascots for the most part. Like, you get
PlayStation's games have been incredibly fucking boring for the past 2 generations. And I think people are finally waking up to that fact. Ghost of Yotei went like a fart in the wind, bro. You know, it hung around for a little while, kind of had its, you know, lingering stink. and now it's faded from everyone's memory.
Uncharted in PS3, and I know, of course, we get Uncharted 4 and PS4, but the idea was like, I feel The Last of Us was more of like the PS4 generation, and then you get into PS5, and it's more Last of Us remasters in the TV show. You get Ghost of Tsushima from Sucker Punch on PS4, and then as great as Yote looks like, you get another iteration of that. You get Returnal, and then you get Sorrows. You get God of War Ragnarok. You get Horizon Zero Dawn, and then whatever the name of the Horizon Forbidden West, that's what it was. You get a lot of the same thing, and that's not a bad thing if you love that thing, and you know you love that thing. Like, there's something to be said about the confident purchase and the good feeling of that. But if you are a player like me who became a little disenfranchised with that approach because it just felt so safe and like, I know what that is. Like, I'm not super interested in getting to that right now. It pulls you away from that urgency to play it. I would say expect Xbox to fall into that pocket. Like, whatever they look at that's generating revenue, I think they're gonna go back to that well multiple times. Like, I don't think, for example, you get Elder Scrolls 6. I know it sounds crazy to be saying Elder Scrolls 7 in a sentence, but like, I don't think Xbox is gonna be like, yeah, we'll wait until Elder Scrolls 7 in like another 15 years. They're gonna be like, oh, you're gonna go work on Fallout 5 now? Find someone to work on Elder Scrolls 7 in the meantime, please and thank you. Or an Elder.
Yeah, dude, I honestly can't think of a single PlayStation game that has like a really good soundtrack other than the old God of War games. And maybe the main theme of Uncharted. Like, that's pretty much it. All other PlayStation music is super unmemorable. Like, I don't remember any of the fucking music from any of those Sony games that I've played. Like, it feels like generic, you know, just copyright-free, licensed music in the background.
Scrolls-like game. Why do you think Bethesda, after insisting forever that they would not do remasters, all of a sudden remastered Oblivion and is going to remaster Fallout 3? After saying, Todd was saying for years, like, we just want to give you the original game because we don't want to touch anything. Like, I think Oblivion Remaster is the best you get in that mentality because it really is the original game, just prettier. I don't beat it over the head, but like, this is the type of change. It's sort of so.
It is not prettier. It's not prettier. If they just would have gone in and up-resed all the assets, it would have been better and kept it in the original engine. But nope.
Which is why I find it a little bit concerning. The article continues on, though. Over the same period, Xbox's strategy has undergone a major shift. And he talks a little bit about Game Pass here. It's $30 a month. Developers are told to throw their game into that subscription service. The change, in the second paragraph here.
I will still die on the hill that the original iteration of Oblivion has a much more appealing visual style than the remaster. You know, it's much more colorful, vibrant. It feels like a dreamlike fantasy world. And Oblivion Remastered just feels like another copy-paste Unreal Engine 5 fantasy setting.
Has hurt Xbox game sales, according to The People, a continuing challenge that may make it even more difficult for studios to achieve a 30% profit margin. To account for the lost sales, Xbox offers its developers a credit, which is called member-weighted value, and is calculated based on several factors, such as the number of hours that Game Pass players collectively spend on a particular title. The opaque formula seems to favor games in which players can spend the most amount of hours, such as online multiplayer titles, according to people familiar with the calculations. So yeah, that's what I want to see. We'll go back to PlayStation again. I mean, Xbox, in all fairness, has handled their kind of live service transition a lot better, excluding Halo Infinite. I do look at something like Forza Horizon 5, I'm like, yeah, like, Xbox does pretty solid with online games. But if you've been paying attention to Halo rumors, we heard how there's a Halo game like Fortnite on the way, and that was not revealed at the Halo World Championship Series. We just got Halo Campaign Evolved, but I wonder what that is and what the incentive to make that is. Of course, we all assumed Xbox Game Pass was hurting sales. Now you're telling first-party developers who are having their sales hurt by your subscription service to sell more copies of a game. Otherwise, the only way to offset that is engagement. So single-player games are come in, play, and you're done. And in the case of Game Pass, as many developers such as Machine Games recently have documented, many players just float into games and leave immediately with Game Pass. This is a bit of like taste testing. I mean, that's the appeal of the service. I don't blame the players for that. But Xbox is trying to incentivize developers now to also make engagement-driven video games. They may not be saying it directly to them, like, you have to make multiplayer games. But again, when you tell your developers, these are our profit targets, and we get it. You know, you're going to sell less copies of your game because you're on Game Pass. So we're going to offer you this credit. And if you get players to engage with your game on Game Pass, that's also value. So if I'm working at Xbox and I'm interested in keeping my job in a company that's slashing people that are even making potential profit plays, I'm like, okay, I'm either making a multiplayer game, a big IP game, or like, I don't know, like, what's the safest bet I can make? I don't think this incentivizes you to go like, screw it, I'm going to go ahead and make something like really ambitious and unique and try to carve a new path with a new IP. It'll still happen. I'm not acting like it'll never happen, but this entire system with these insanely high targets de-incentivizes that, in my opinion. I think companies like Obsidian Entertainment, who have had a history of budgeting their games really well, as they've talked about, where they create their games with the idea that they're going to spectacularly fail, so they overperform, will thrive without a single problem in this Xbox ecosystem. But there are other companies that I look at, like, again, I always go back to compulsion games. I'm like, taking 7 years to make the $40 South of Midnight, and it dropping, and its peak Steam player count's frankly not good at all.
Yeah, dude, I had so many people coping in the comments section of my review, like, you're just racist, this game did so well. Wow. It made $56,000 on Steam. You know, I'm sure the developers are over the moon.
I don't care if it's a day one Game Pass game, but like this boutique artistic driven game is not driving any sort of attention, and Xbox had to fund that for a while, or Hellblade 2 even. I get that there's like a technical advantage in having Ninja Theory, but like, is that really driving a lot of players where it's going to drive insane profit margins with how long you spend on it versus what you get out of it and what the game is priced at? Like in any entertainment industry.
Nope.
There's always been the clash of the artist and the business, but now you're kind of putting your artists in a position to be businessmen and women. And I just look at that and go, Like that could be a recipe for like success if we get a lot of good stuff from IP we care about. Like, are we gonna get more Fable? Like we've all asked for like, oh, we'd love to see like Fable remasters or remakes of some kind. That would be cool. On top of the new thing that we're getting, I'd love to see, of course, I mentioned so many times, Fallout remasters or Fallout spin-offs or Elder Scrolls spin-offs. I mean, the list goes on. Halo spin-offs. Like, man, Helldivers 2 really shook Xbox awake to get that partnership done because Helldivers just feels like it should be a Halo game. And kudos to Arrowhead for recognizing that. So is Xbox more incentivized to do more?
Dude, what have I always fucking said about Halo? That they need to give that shit to id Software, and they need to make a spin-off first-person Flood shooter. Like, make it a co-op Flood shooter with Doom gameplay set in the Halo universe. That shit would be fucking awesome. But no, Microsoft is allergic to good ideas, man. They are absolutely allergic to good ideas. Or imagine giving id Software Gears of War and making a first-person Gears of War spinoff. Like, imagine using shit like the Gnasher or the Lancer in a first-person perspective. That shit would be absolutely insane. But no, again. And how long do you think that would actually take to develop? Like, if you just made an 8-hour FPS campaign in id Tech's engine with Halo and Gears of War assets, like, that's like a year or two dev time, maybe. You could crank those puppies out in no time at all. But, again, they're allergic to good ideas.
Projects with the Halo franchise, or are they going to go the route that they've kind of been doing, like a Halo 1 remake, nice and safe? I mean, I'm still interested in it. I really hope it's great, but, you know, nice and safe. Or Gears of War Reloaded, really safe decision there. Will they do the same for Gears 2, Halo 3, Gears 3, and so on? Probably. So, again, I would just prepare yourself mentally for an era coming up of safe Xbox decisions that'll start to kind of show itself over the next few years. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. Very interesting article from Schreier. Really appreciate this insight because, again, the big question with all these business decisions was why. And myself and Cog were saying on Defining Duke so many times, like, I'm waiting for that Schreier expose that just gives us the why. Like, we had our speculation, like, probably Amy Hood, Satya pushing, like, these kind of profit plays, but like, how much? And what's the insight on that? Now we know, like, developers are being made aware and stuff. Like, this is the stuff I'm looking for. So just great reporting from Jason. Really helpful information here. Ladies and gentlemen, I kick it over to you now. Let me know your thoughts on this. Of course, link down below Jason's article if you want to read it for yourself. But I'll catch you in the next one. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.
Yeah, this is the beginning of the end.
The act, ma'am. Wait, what is this? Latest Xbox earnings are grim?
Well, apparently when I do math, people get very, very mad. But this whole video was supposed to be about the Microsoft earnings call, which did not go well for Xbox console sales.
Shocking. Who would have guessed?
Yeah, that's right. Microsoft had their big F-year 26 Q1 earnings. Sony has one right around the corner. And I wanted to talk a little bit about console sales and where they are currently. So Microsoft's financial year 26 earnings happened. And here's the TLDR from Shinobi. I listened to the earnings and went through the numbers myself. Content and services went up 1%. Xbox...
That's terrible.
Hardware dropped 29% again. And total gaming revenue has decreased 2%, meaning it's at $113 million. Now, if you spin those numbers another way, it's actually seemingly a bit worse than you might expect because the figures, well, let's just say they're not super great, okay? Satya Nadella came on the call and basically said the following. He mentioned that, yes, there is AI for the handheld. Gaming is at 155 million monthly active users. Minecraft at an all-time high. Overall content and services had a record revenue for the quarter. They had a great response to the Xbox Ally launch, and they set new record for players on PC. Now, Amy Hood talked about their financial outlook, and they said that it's not looking great, basically, for lack of a better term. But yeah, so they are expecting content and services to go up next quarter, which was a bit of a surprise. But here they said content and services expected to...
No, content services are going to go up because they're raising the price of Game Pass by 50%. Come on, people. Of course it's going to go up. They just jacked the price of everything up.
I'm sorry, content and services are expected to decrease in low to mid single-digit %, and hardware will further decline, no percentage provided. Spoiler warning, it's going to be bad. So usually during these calls, what I like to do is I like to take a look and see...
I mean, that's the thing, dude. It's like every single time this happens. Like, they raise the price of shit where, you know, the revenue should go up, but it goes down. And it's like, it's sad. Very fucking sad. It's just... Microsoft, bro. Truly.
Microsoft.
This is what happened last time. Remember when they raised the price of Game Pass? And then I forgot what else it was, too. And, you know, people were hyping it up like, oh my God, bro, there was a 5% increase in service revenue. And it's like, yeah, coming off the back of a 20% price increase of Game Pass means that they had a net negative effect of like 15% on services revenue. So without the price adjustment, it means they actually lost like 20% almost of their actual, you know, service revenue. It's just, I don't know, bro. The cope is incredible. The cope is absolutely incredible. But yeah, they'll hype up like a little 1% increase, dude. Oh my God. Things are looking up, guys.
See where Xbox is at with console sales. Now, there's been a lot of speculation about this, and we don't have official data, so all of this is estimates before I show you my crazy math chart here. So long story short, in 2020, they sold 10 million. In 2021, 7.7, putting them at 17.7. In 2022, they sold 4 million. That's according to the ID at Xbox leak that we've all heard about. That puts them at about 21.7 million. 2023, 6 million, 27.7. That is according to Take-Two earnings, which, you know, Strauss selling had to come out and say, oh, yeah, this is not quite accurate. But then they did it again next year, and they're probably going to do it again next week during their Microsoft earnings call. So that's the only figure that we really have to go off. Take-Two puts them around 32 million sold through 2024. And I'm going to go ahead and estimate with a 29% decrease in sales quarter over quarter with an estimated additional percentage decrease. I think they're going to be at 35.1 million consoles sold, optimistically, through 2025. Now, other sources, Ampere, who I trust very much, puts them at 34.1 as of June 2025. VG Charts, as of July 2025, who I do not really trust at all, I never use VG Charts, puts them at 33.12. And Kepler L2 on NeoGAF says they have failed to hit 30 million consoles sold, putting them at 29.9. Now, whenever I start talking about financials, people really get into the numbers, and they're like, oh, fiscal year, normal people year. I am talking about normal person year, the year you and I know and love. You know how normal people years work, right? They end December 31st. I'm not doing fiscal years, so take for that what you will. Now, Sony has their data nice and handy. So if we want to compare to PlayStation, which has I made a TikTok. It was meant to be a TikTok joke talking about where PlayStation was and blaming
Dude,
TikTok.
look at that shit. Oh, it sold a perfect 160 million. That is such a lie. Such a lie. Jim Ryan fudged the fucking numbers on his way out to try and prevent the Switch from matching the PS2. That is such a fake number. It was 155 million for years. Years it was 155 million. Or 157. I don't remember exactly what it was. But yeah, all of a sudden he changes it to 160. It literally says no, look. That's just when they stopped producing PS2s. Here, look. This is when he announced it. Let's see. Yeah, March 31st, 2024. Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO Jim Ryan claims PS2 sold 160 million units. So this was new information like a year and a half ago. So they summoned up like 4 or 5 million units out of thin air.
On their ability to sell.
I don't know, what is the Switch at right now? I think it's like a 154. Let's see, Switch consoles sold. Nintendo makes all their shit super easy to find. Yeah, here you go. Nintendo Switch is at 153.1. And this was our June 30th. So it'll probably be at like 156 by the end of the holidays. We should be getting another one of these pretty soon, I would think. I don't know what date usually Nintendo updates these, but I would imagine it's been over 3 months. So. Yeah, dude, look at that software attach rate. That's crazy. That's really good. Yeah, it's about to surpass the DS, which, you know, that's Nintendo's best selling, I think, ever, right? Yeah. But yeah, I think Nintendo will probably, when all's said and done, they will surpass the PS2 with the Switch. Because they haven't even started fire sailing these things yet. Like, bro, imagine when they start selling the Switch for like $200. Can you imagine how many units they're going to move? Like, that shit's going to be crazy. And then not to mention, like, all the third world countries and stuff they'll continue to sell in. Who can't afford, you know, the Switch 2.
Versus PS4. So I'm just going to show you the numbers. As you can see here in Q3, that's actually where normal people years end, and their financial year is reported here. So we're doing Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. So in their first year, they actually match where PlayStation was. So you can see they sold 4.5. And then if you do the math, PlayStation 5 is doing quite well, 12.8, 14.8, 22.7, 20.2. And the last official figure we have from PlayStation puts them at 80.3 million consoles sold. Now, they were only about 1.7 million units apart from where the PlayStation 4 sold in 2017. Currently, with 6 months left of reporting to do, they are sitting at 14.1 million units difference. And the PS4, by the end of normal people year, December 2018, it had sold 94.4. That's actually above what a lot of the reporting from back in 2018 said, because Sony came out, adjusted their figures, and it was actually much higher than they had originally anticipated. And again, I'm going off of Sony numbers. I'm not going off VG charts. I'm not going off anybody else. I'm going off officially reported data, because Sony, proudly, as they should, shares that data and shows us exactly how many consoles that they have sold per quarter. So you can cut the math however you want. You can do it fiscal year, you can do it whatever. I choose to do it through normal people years through December of any given year. And currently they are trailing by 14.1 million units. But I wanted to, it wasn't really about where PlayStation is or where Xbox is or anybody else. This was more about where the business is and where console sales are. Now, we know that PlayStation is currently ahead of the PlayStation 4 in the US for console sales. I think Matt Piscatella puts them about 4% above where the PlayStation 4 was, according to his last reporting. But if you look at Sony's own reporting, I do not think that they will surpass the PlayStation 4 this year. That is the number I've been waiting for. I am wondering when that is going to happen. I thought maybe it would happen this year because of GTA 6, and I am giving you an update because they haven't been there yet. And just to show another source, this is Take-Two's earnings of, they're saying 107 million Gen 9. This is how I get the Xbox numbers, right? Because Xbox, you know, hides how many consoles they sold because they're not selling well. And then I sort of get to estimate, okay, 29% year-over-year decline, 29% year-over-year decline for the quarter. Let's put them at 3.1 million for 2025. And I think the Take-Two earnings that comes out next week, I'm guessing they're going to put them around 35 million sold, and we will have PlayStation's official numbers for the year. So we can just look at PlayStation's come, I believe it's November 11th off the top of my head. So PlayStation doing great. They're showing growth in their monthly active users, but Xbox had an absolutely terrible year. And one of the tweet, well, in my opinion, they had a very, very poor year. Because when you look at revenue, Insider Gaming did talk about it. Xbox revenue falls 113 million year over year, and I said that seems bad. And a lot of people got really upset about this, just going through the math and everything and saying misleading headline: Xbox total revenue fell 113 million. Yeah, that's bad, but includes first full quarter of Activision. I don't know why that is important. Because they have been including Activision. Content and services up 1%, beating negative 5% expected. Gaming profit plus 44% to 1.2 billion. I don't really understand that figure. Hardware down, but services carried, not falling, transforming. I think what he's trying to illustrate is that most of the revenue, it's not coming from where you would expect with Xbox. Even Satya Nadella talked about how happy people were with the ROG Xbox Ally X, and the whole reason that I wanted to make this video is to illustrate why Sony is now focusing on monthly active users and why Xbox is focusing not only on monthly active users, but a drastic revamp of their hardware plan. It's because their hardware doesn't sell. As much as you love Xbox, you can love the Xbox Series X and S, and you can think, oh, hey, like, it's a great console. I actually think the Series X is a great console. The Series S is also. But the fact is, they are trailing PlayStation.
Xbox Series sold less than 3 million last year. Well, it hit 2 million this year. Well, if you believe the numbers that have been coming out from, you know, third-party analyst firms, it's been selling about 100 to 180,000 per month. So it might just cross over 2 million.
Well, let's say PlayStation does crazy numbers in 2020. Let's say they sell 20 million units, or even more conservatively, like let's say they get to 90 million by the end of the year versus the figures where I have Xbox, and Xbox is at 35.1 million. That's not good. That is exactly why Xbox cannot compete in the console market. Phil saw the writing on the wall back in, 2022, 2023, because they know, oh, we've sold 21.7 million, like about half of where PlayStation 5 is in the same time period. In 2022, that's really where the discrepancy happened. PS5 was at 32.1 million, and Xbox was at 21.7 million, according to...
Yeah, it's because they didn't have fuck all for games to play on the Xbox. So, again, Phil... It's not a matter of, oh, even if we release great games, it's not going to win us the console war. It's like, no, you didn't release great games to give you a fighting chance.
The leak, and then in 2023, we're estimating that they only sold 27.7 versus Sony, who's at 54. So, that chart for Sony versus Xbox, it's widening. I don't know how to do it. So, Xbox is not increasing drastically. And then PlayStation, their big goal was to outsell PlayStation 4. I don't think they're going to get there this year. It'll be curious to see where GTA 6 is. And honestly, the main reason I would say the PlayStation 5 won't outsell the PS4, there's two factors. I think people are really worried about spending a lot of money right now. I think that they're going to hold on to their dollars and cents. And tariffs don't help, so all console prices have increased. And, there's not a huge holiday release that I think is going to drive console sales. Ghost of Yotei looks like it's selling well, but GTA 6 really would have pushed the console. And if you are looking for console purchasing advice, I would recommend the base PlayStation 5. I think the base PlayStation 5 is probably, with the price increase and everything, it's the best value you can get in gaming right now. In terms of, if you're a console player and you're looking for the best console, that is what I would recommend. That is what I would recommend to my friends, and I've said that many times. So that's sort of where they're at. I mean, they didn't say too much about where Xbox is going. I definitely think content and services will go down. It'll be interesting to see just how much of an impact the Game Pass cancellations have had. But that is my long and short of it. And yeah, I ended up getting community noted by Grok. Sorry, I'm going to go off of Sony's own earnings calls versus Grok, but here's why people are mad. It's half joking. I said PlayStation still needs to sell 14.1 million PS5 consoles this year to surpass total sales of the PlayStation 4. That's accurate because we only have reporting for half the year of 2025. Come November 11th, let me get the official date for you though on that earnings call because it's going to be an interesting one. Yeah, it's November 11th. We will have another 3 months of where the PlayStation 5 is at currently, and probably estimates for the rest of the normal person year for PlayStation 5 sales. I don't think they're going to get there this year. I think if they surpass the PlayStation 4, it'll be next year. I think Xbox continues to see, I think it's going to be even more drastic hardware decline because, calling my local stores, they only stock like one Xbox unit, and it just seems like these things aren't flying off the shelves. They are kind of just, with the price increase, why would you be going out to buy a console?
Dog, what type of cope is that shit? India is great. Westerners have built their nations on a legacy of looting and stealing. Bro, what the fuck did India have other than agriculture? The only thing that Westerners wanted from India was spices. That's literally it. We wanted a bunch of farm slaves so we could season day food. That's it. What the fuck was stolen from India that made the Western world so much better? And if that's the case, why the fuck is India an open-air sewage pit? That literally, if you breathe the air, you get a fucking chronic respiratory disease. And also, if India is so fucking great, how are the Westerners even able to come in and take it over in the first place? Y'all have a massive country, and the British were a tiny-ass little island. So how is it that the nation of India, this wonderful shining light of human achievement, was able to be conquered by these evil Westerners from a tiny, faraway island with relative ease? So cope all you fucking want, bro. Light as many cow patties as you need to commune with your gods with a fucking spider head and 7 monkey arms. But, the cope is not going to get you anywhere. It's the same cope that African Americans say that, oh, black people built America. Without black people, America would be not. It's like, no. If that was the case, why the fuck is Africa so shitty? And why the fuck did they not even invent the wheel when the Europeans arrived? So it's the same tiresome cope. Conquered peoples bitching about the fact that they couldn't fucking cut it. Cry.
Right now, it just seems I would get one secondhand, honestly. Like if I had to get one, I suppose I would probably look secondhand first to get it there. Anyway, that's long and the short of it. Saw the tweet was picking up, so I thought I would talk a little bit about my figures and just talk a little bit about where they are. Again, this is Sony's own reporting. Here is their most recent report. They put it at 2.5 million and 2.8 million. You got to remember, these are their fiscal quarters. Like Q3 is actually December, and Q4 is January through March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So Q3 will be our final number estimate for 2025, and we will get that official reporting from Sony. Anyway, just wanted to share my thoughts with you and share how I do my Destin math. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. As you can tell, I'm a little sick. I am fighting something off for sure, and it sucks. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Thank you so much to the members, Chris Reddy, Phil Roney, and Aries EMS. I do greatly appreciate you. I got to get out of here, but I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.
Bruh. This cope about, you know, conquered peoples thinking they somehow are superior is actually fucking wild. If India is so superior, why the fuck does every Indian want to come to the Western world to work and live? Why is it that so many Indians are fleeing actively from the wonderful nation of India? So why aren't people knocking at the doors of India in order to try and get in to the amazing nation that is India? You know, shouldn't white people be flocking to India by the millions trying to live there instead of, you know, millions of Indians trying to move to European countries and America and Canada and Australia? Didn't the British colonize it? Yeah, that's not the same as British people wanting to live in India-controlled India. That's the point. Colonization is an effort to make a place less like it was originally. Like when the Europeans colonized America, they didn't colonize it because they wanted to live like the fucking TP, you know, loincloth, scalping, you know, spear chuckers. They wanted to come and build European society in America. They didn't want to live like the natives. The British didn't go colonize India to live like Indians. They went there to build an actual civilization, which is why the Indians still use British infrastructure to this day and are barely able to maintain and expand upon it. I mean, one need only look at the latest example of Indian engineering in full effect.
Trying to move. Vehicles. Together. Things.
I don't understand why there was no audio on that, but It kept cutting out, but... Can't even pour concrete correctly. Brutal. The world's most dangerous railway tracks, India, the Pam Bam Railway.
This isn't just another mode of transport. It is one of India's largest employers, a major contributor to its GDP, and inarguably the nation's economic and social lifeline. But how did the British introduced system of transport become the backbone of our nation? And
hear that? And this is from an Indian channel.
And social lifeline. But how did the British introduced system of transport become the backbone of our nation?
How did a British introduce... One more time.
But how did the British introduced system of transport become the backbone of our nation?
Brutal!
And how much does it really contribute to India's growth story? The Indian Railways is 171 years old.
Gee, I wonder why.
The first passenger train, powered by an English-built steam engine,
why not Indian-built,
ran from Mumbai to Thane on April 16, 1853. It was hauled by 3 engines, namely Sultan, Sahib and Sindh. And the train took about an hour to complete a distance of 33.8 kilometers. For most of the 19th century, the Indian Railway looked and sounded something like this. With the new century, on 3rd February 1925, India saw its first electric train run between Bombay Victoria Terminus and Kurla Harbour. Despite being introduced by the British, the Indian Railways played an important role in the independence movement, with the train network being used for mobilization and spreading awareness. After India's independence, the Indian leaders decided to nationalize the Indian Railways in the year 1951.
So, do you know what that means? Is basically when they became independent, they snatched up the railways from the private owners.
And the railways have never been the same since then. From tickets as low as ₹10 to the luxurious Maharaja's Express, Indian Railways welcomes one and all.
Railway is the most preferred and time-bound option to travel, and there's no limitation to it because anyone and everyone can travel with that.
The network spans over 68,000 kilometers, making it the 4th largest
by force
rail network in the world. Today, Indian Railways is 95% electrified, placing India ahead of the European Union, the UK and the US in rail electrification. On average, 14.5 kilometers of track is either being laid or electrified each day.
रेलवे ने काफी डेवलप कर लिया है वो अपना
But you get the point. Once again, British infrastructure. And the thing is, too, is whenever they build those railway expansions, it's the same case with African nations. They either bring in a European, American, or Chinese company to do the actual engineering and architecture and actual track laying. They don't use native companies most of the time. They bring in foreigners and foreign companies to come do the work for them, or at least the planning. So... David with the 5, their trains kill as much cow and peasants as flies on our Yeah, dude, the Indian train compilations are funny as fuck, bro. Why, like, random Indian guys just feel the need to get hit by trains all the fucking time, I don't understand. I don't fucking understand. Like, what would compel you to walk that close to a train track for no reason? Especially when you know a train is coming. Well, dude, in most countries like India, the driving is just a free-for-all. Nobody pays attention to traffic laws. It's just basically, you know, press the pedal and pray because you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. So, because everybody's on those, like, little fucking scooters and shit, and they're just zipping in and out between cars and other scooters. They don't wait for lights. You know, everybody just goes for it all at once, and it just makes these massive fucking traffic jams and shit. So, it's not organized at all. That's why so many people like the trains, is because, you know, it skips all that traffic. Not to mention is, you know, most of the Indian workers don't actually live in the cities in which they work. So they sometimes will be on the train for hours a day. I'm not vacationing anywhere, most likely. Well, I probably will take time off around Christmas time like I normally do, but I'm not going anywhere. At least that's the plan. Oh my god, bro. What is this dog shit? Gamers go scorched earth on Trump regime over its use of Halo. Yeah, it does not backfire at all. The only thing that backfired is ass-blasted Alejandro, you know. Ass-blasted Alejandro's the only one that was blown the fuck out. Look at this shit. I was not expecting to see Angry Joe on the thumbnail, but I'm here for it. Angry Joe and his crew are all people of color. They aren't openly political, but they are good eggs. Why? Because they're not white? See, people like this should just be shot, bro. You know, Jessica Wilson, you're going to be on the first train. You're what's wrong with this nation. Yeah, Act Man was, you know, calling it out, dude. He's just turning into yet another, you know, leftist cuck. Like all large gaming content creators inevitably become. Just the copy-paste, soy-lennial leftist cuck. It's sad, bro. Gotta wear my NFL merch. Yeah, I dislike both sides, dude. I just agree with everything the Democrats say. But I don't associate with them. The economic fallout of Donald Trump starving. I mean, hold on.
My friends, how are you? It is absolutely fantastic to see you for yet another video.
Where the fuck is this guy?
And yesterday's video was supposed to be about a trucking company going under, and we kind of got off into the weeds on a
Is he in a truck?
Bunch of other things having to do with
what the fuck is this?
The economy as a whole, because when you really look at it, everything that's going wrong in America economically is all due to Donald Trump's poor economic policies, right? His trade wars that he started with just about every country in the world, how we don't know from one day to the next how much the tariffs are going to be, and we're one Donald Trump temper tantrum away from an extra 100% tariffs on any given country.
Dog. Holy shit. His teeth are almost as fucked up as his worldview.
Out there. Obviously, this has made it very tough for a lot of countries around the world to do business with America, and also for international businesses around the world to do any kind of business that makes any sense. And that's kind of where we ended up yesterday when I met specifically to talk about a trucking company going under because of Donald Trump's policies. But what we really found out in yesterday's video is how interconnected everything is and how everything works together. And I spent the day thinking about this yesterday, about how we are watching as people are cheering for basically their own downfall right now. And we know this has been going on for a long time. We're very used to, over the last 10 years, Trump supporters cheering for their own demise because, well, quite frankly, they're fucking idiots that don't understand what it is that they're asking for.
Yeah, people need to be more intellectual like this guy. Standing in whatever the fuck this is.
But right now, one of the big things that's going on is that Donald Trump and the Republican Party are trying to end food stamps, SNAP benefits in America in an attempt to keep the billionaires very wealthy. They decided they want to...
What? to keep the billionaires wealthy, they're ending SNAP Do you know where the money from SNAP benefits goes to, you fucking half-brained dipshit? You do realize that SNAP benefits are like corporate welfare, right? People get the fucking SNAP benefits and then they go spend them at Walmart, Kroger, Target, Amazon, Whole Foods, and guess who owns all of those grocery stores and all the brands of food that are stocked inside of those stores? Wait for it. Billionaires. So in a sense, we're just directing tax money directly into billionaires' pockets. But, you know, go off, Queen. I'm sure you're so fucking smart. I'm sure those billionaires just absolutely hate that the government gives, you know, poor people a shit ton of money to spend on, you know, cheap crap that makes them incredibly wealthy.
To starve the poor, just like Jesus would do, of course, right? Just like Jesus would have done. And
oh, are you a devout Christian?
As we talked about that yesterday, we talked about how all these
he doesn't really strike me as one.
Things work together, and how one thing can cause.
He strikes me as a lolbritarian, aka a leftist that refuses to admit he's a Democrat.
Ripple effects through the entire economy. Sorry, I'm having a little trouble lately, my friends. Thank you all so much for being patient with me. But readjusting to the truck, I'm struggling with it. That's the first time I've taken a week off, like in.
Okay, so he's in a truck. Got it.
So thank you all for being patient with me as I stumble over my words all the damn time trying to figure out what I'm saying. But I understand with this food stamps thing, there is a lot of states have filed lawsuits, and a lot of states are saying. I think some states out there are saying that they will cover the cost of it, and some states are going ahead with releasing the USDA funds anyways to find Donald Trump. I don't really know. It's sort of a story that's still unfolding. So I know a lot of things are changing, but I don't ever judge Donald Trump on the end result necessarily. What I judge Donald Trump on is his intent. What is it that he's intending to do with this new thing that he's doing right now? Which is why months ago I was up in arms about the executive order to end birthright citizenship. I didn't like it for a lot of reasons, but I didn't like it because
Why?
I knew that I'm speaking out against Donald Trump. Hell, I was born here. How close are we really to Donald Trump just saying, hey, he's not a citizen anymore, and then I'm off to a concentration camp with everyone else that Donald Trump doesn't like?
God willing. You know, in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, from your lips to his ear, I hope it is so. Amen.
Of course, I'm against the concentration camps and the no due process and the mass deportations with the no due process and all of those things. But it made me wonder how close I am to joining people in El Salvador because Donald Trump wanted me out. And I understand that got kind of watered down in the court system, and I don't remember what the end result is. But
dude, I genuinely hope Donald Trump gives them everything they're asking for. You know, concentration camps, death squads, you know, mass deportations of leftists, you know, the stripping away of citizenship. You know, a full fascist dictatorship. Like, I'm here for it, baby. Let's go.
All right, awesome. Thanks, nigga. All right.
I want it now.
The beginning of it was a little bit scary to everybody involved that was paying attention, right? And that's the same way that I'm judging Donald Trump with this thing where he wants to starve the poorest struggling Americans out there to make a point.
Yo, let's see. Let's just take a look at what the poorest struggling Americans look like. Let's see. She's really struggling, man. They're all fat. They are all fat. I just wanted to see a compilation. Because they all look the same, bro. They're all fat. Every single one of these people who's bitching about EBT is fucking fat. 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 Let's see, EBT. Fat. Alright, well that's Sora, so hold on. Let's see if we can find an actual one. Yo, fat. Fat. Every single one of them that I've seen is someone who's fat. Yup, fat. It's like clockwork, man. Again, I have proposed the perfect solution to this. Give everyone a ration of beans and rice. You know, for every person that they have in their immediate care, give them a month's ration of dried beans, dried rice. They obviously will have water in a pot to heat and cook the food. And there you go. No one will starve to death. Not even the homeless starve to death. So, this is not an issue at all.
Point that billionaires need.
They just want to go buy fucking M&Ms and Fruit Loops and Pop-Tarts and fucking Hot Pockets and Stouffer's lasagna and mac and cheese. You know, they want to go buy all this crap. They don't want to eat real food. They want to go buy a bunch of processed slop that, you know, just makes them morbidly obese 9 times out of 10. Jay Neptune with the 5. Are you planning on a stakeout at your local Walmart tomorrow? Fuck no. Absolutely not. I'm staying the fuck away from Walmart in my area, bro. Let's just say that shit's darker than a KFC on Sunday. David with the 5. They will die of dehydration without 2 liters of Coke a week. Try a day, bro. 2 liters a week is like light work for most of these welfare queens.
Need more fucking money. That's the point that he's trying to make here. And if it gets watered down, or if the states push back and all that, and happen to be able to feed their population, it still stands to reason that Donald Trump and the Republicans were in favor of starving the American people because they wanted them to, they wanted the billionaires to get bigger tax breaks. And you have to realize that.
What? Do you not realize where this money goes, you fucking idiot? It is literally money printed and given to billionaires. It is taxpayer money that is directly deposited into the pockets of billion-dollar corporations who sell this ultra-processed shit that people buy at the store, like at Walmart and stuff.
These billionaires in America paid the way for Donald Trump.
These guys have zero fucking ability to think. They're just genuinely stupid.
To be the president of the United States. Guys like Elon Musk especially, who is out there bribing Americans with the chance to win $1 million if they just fill out this right-leaning questionnaire over here in Pennsylvania. You know, all that bullshit that he was doing. Elon.
What's wrong with giving away money? Aren't you all about wealthy people redistributing their fucking cash? What's wrong with Elon Musk paying someone $1 million just for filling out a fucking survey? Isn't that what you want billionaires to do, is to help out normal people and give away money? Well, he's literally doing it. All you have to do is fill out a fucking survey. Jeez.
Musk basically buying up one of the biggest social media sites in the on the internet so he can pack it full of his far right-wing Nazi propaganda. You know, all the shit that's going on.
Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, my God. When we win, we won't have to suffer these type of people anymore.
These people paid for Donald Trump to become the president. And what they want, my friends, is they want the return on their investment, and they want it fucking now. So the idea that Donald Trump is going to have a conscience and he's going to start doing the right thing, and the Republicans are going to do the right thing, isn't going to fucking happen. What they're going to do is push forward with all these ideas so Donald Trump can repay all the people that he now owes money to. It's business, baby. Your life doesn't matter. Your healthcare, your food.
Your life doesn't, I agree.
None of that matters, okay? You are a business transaction in America now because of Donald Trump. And that was sort of a long-winded intro, but yesterday, it feels like an intro, I don't know. Yesterday we were talking about how all these things are interconnected and how trucking companies are going to see more of a massive downfall, not only because of the headwinds of the tariffs that we're dealing with, but now the upcoming headwinds of a couple things. Potentially millions of people in America going without SNAP benefits that is going to lead to a drop in freight that needs to move around this country, and also the Republicans' evil plan to double, triple, or even quadruple your healthcare costs, which is also going to lead to people either making a choice to not buy healthcare, to not have healthcare anymore, or people not having the money.
Wait, how is the Republican Party double, tripling, or quadrupling your healthcare costs? explain that to me in simple terms, exactly how that works.
Money to buy other things because of the extreme healthcare costs. And it got me thinking, and it definitely got the comment section thinking yesterday, as you guys were so kind as to tell me.
I want an explanation on how they're quadrupling healthcare costs. I would love to know that.
All the other things that this actually fucking affects the minute you start starving out Americans in the interest of the billionaires. And to me, I found that really fascinating. So that's what we're really here to talk about today. 7 minutes into it, the people that have never met me before, have never seen my videos, have probably checked out by now. What's this guy fucking rambling about? Will he ever get to the point? But the people that know me and love me know we're just here for the conversation, baby, and we will eventually get there. And for that, I thank you guys. But obviously, I heard one of the biggest, what's the beneficiary? That's the word I'm going to...
How does a white dude even get to this point? You just consume as much Zog slop as humanly possible, and this is the fucking end state.
Be looking for a lot through this video. One of the biggest beneficiaries of the SNAP program, the food stamps, is America's farmers, right? Oh my God, they're already fucking bankrupt. Can we do any more damage to the farmers? And the answer to that question is yes. The farmers have been getting fucking hammered in every way possible because of the Trump administration. You guys remember when they got rid of USAID? Yeah, that was how we were feeding people around the world, that American influence, that soft power around the world, and the farmers were a massive beneficiary of that.
Does this guy realize what he's saying? Holy shit. So, because we got rid of USAID, the farmers are hurting because we no longer give them money to send food overseas. So, we were taxing farmers and everyone else in the country, using that money to buy products from the same farmers, and then sending it to a foreign nation for free. Do you not realize how that's a problem? Why don't we just give the farmers the money in the first place and not tax them as much? If they really need a subsidy, which farming is already subsidized out the fucking ass. This is insane, bro. Like, what type of fucking girl math is... Like, bro, you know that fucking girl math shit? That's basically what it all comes down to with these fucking Democrats, bro. It's like the notion they're trying to push right now where it's like, oh, every dollar of fucking SNAP benefits, you know, stimulates the economy with $1.8 of economic activity. And it's like literally, you know, the concept of putting a plug into a power strip. Like taking the plug end of a power strip and plugging it into itself and going, I'm getting electricity for free. Like, it's that type of retarded ass logic. Like, if we give somebody $1, then it creates $1.80 of economic activity. It's like, oh my God. People really are dumb, man.
That was the first shoe to drop, I think, as far as the farmers went. And then Donald Trump got involved in a fucking trade war with China, where China just went and started buying soybean elsewhere. And now the...
I always love doing this. Trump secures China agreement to buy millions of tons of U.S. soybeans, Bassett says after Xi meeting. During an appearance on Mornings with Maria, Bassett said China agreed to purchase 12 million metric tons of the crop during this season, which he indicated is between now and should be January. He then added China should purchase at least 25 million metric tons of soybeans each year during the next 3 years. But we want to talk about soybeans, so let's get back to it.
The American farmers can't sell a soybean to China. But don't worry,
they can't sell a singular soybean to China, guys. Never mind those 12 million metric tons that are literally being sold right now.
Farmers, never fear. Donald Trump is on the fucking case where after all this pain, all this anxiety, everything that the farmers are going through, Donald Trump now has a framework of a trade deal with China, which includes China buying American soybean. It's almost like we could have just fucking started there and avoided all of this bullshit, right? But that's where the farmers took it on the chin yet again. Well, also now because Donald...
Oh my God.
Trump and the good Christian Republicans want to starve millions of Americans. The farmers once again get hit with that. And yes, I don't think that's all. There were some reductions in school lunches because we don't believe in feeding children in this country anymore. Like the Christians, goddammit. And what else? I think there were some issues with the WIC program. I don't know whatever ended up happening.
Hold on. I'm already bored of this particular video, but I just want to see. I mean, his channel is aptly named. He is the enemy from within. This is the enemy from within personified. Is this Zog Slop brain-rotted Goyim who just parrots all the talking points from MSNBC. Like, he's literally not even alive. Let's see real quick. Christianity. I just want to... Okay, yeah, no mention of it. I just wanted to see if he's one of those people that's like, you know, the hardcore anti-Christian types, because he keeps bringing it up. Sadly, the farmers hurt the most probably shouldn't be farming anyway. Like, if you're farming less than 500 to 1,000 acres, and even then... Well, dude, the thing is during this trade war, the tariffs have literally been used to subsidize farmers, because the long-term goal has been to work out a trade deal, because we know that China needs our soybeans, because they consume a shitload of pork. And in order to feed pork, you know, soybeans are the cheapest feed that you can feed to pigs. So the Chinese need soybeans. The fact of the matter is it's basically just a game of chicken when it comes to these trade wars. It's who's going to fold first. The Chinese need us a lot more than we need them. And by tariffing Chinese goods and just directing that money to the farmers to make up for potential lost crop sales, we can wait China out, because at the end of the day, they need our soybeans, and they need us buying their cheap Chinese shit in mass quantities. Like, Chinese factories right now are operating at half
All right,
capacity.
awesome. Thanks, nigga. All right.
Because they can't run them around the clock because there's not enough movement of Chinese goods internationally. So it's pretty interesting. Formerly Chuck with the 5 is a person who works in areas that heavily rely on SNAP and welfare. 90% of children's existence is for an extra zero on the check. It's sad but true, man. You know, a lot of these women have figured out that, you know, it's a career path to just pop out a bunch of kids and then live off of child support and the government dime. So it's very, very sad. It encourages all the wrong types of parents to have kids. So it needs to be stopped. Your average gamer with the 5, none of these people who are outraged over the SNAP stuff have ever donated food to a food bank. Just more fake outrage from the entitled bums. Yeah, that's the thing, man. When's the last time anyone's ever heard of a homeless person starving to death? Like, it's just such a fake outrage. It really is. The fattest people are the ones who are screaming the loudest over their EBT getting cut off because they won't be able to afford their unhealthy eating habits anymore, which maybe is for the best. Go figure. So... Broke Trump USA running out of food? What in the fucking Chinese propaganda is this?
So the USA is in serious trouble this week, and also Donald Trump is showing some serious signs of something's wrong. This is the headline then today. Trump confirms recent MRI, but declines to give reason why. I'll just say this. All this thing boils down to is, do you believe in Trump or not?
Bro, what the fuck happened to his hair?
That's basically what it boils down to. And it feels like when you talk to MAGA people, if you tell them something they don't like, they'll say, oh, you're just a hater and you just don't believe in, our Lord and Savior Trump. It's just what it boils down to. It's like debating a religion at this point. The problem is, though, this weekend is we're going to run out of food. Seriously. This is a story then. Trump is straight up lying, about SNAP funding just to blame the Democrats, okay? So basically we're going to run out of food money. I'm talking about SNAP, talking about 42 million Americans not having enough money to put food on the table. And it's going to boil down to who do you want to believe, right? I'll tell you what I think. I'll tell you the facts. But at the end of the day, you have to make your own mind.
Let's see. I'm seeing if I can find a stat real quick. Alright, nah, I can't find it. Shit.
And this is what Trump talks about on a daily basis. Trump, quote, would love unconstitutional third term. Great. But rules out running for VP. Oh, wow. I feel better now. And these are actual headlines. This is from The Guardian. This is just going off of stuff that Trump says. And, it's funny because I showed you guys a joke yesterday because, in this day and age, you need to laugh sometimes. But this actually feels real. In a surprising trend, MAGA supporters by the thousands are demolishing the east side of their houses. Basically, if you believe in Trump as your Lord and Savior, you might as well just destroy your house because he's destroying his. So you might as well follow him and do everything he does. Because basically that's what it is on a daily basis. Is like Trump's like, hey, I got this.
This is the Democrat male. Don't you want to be just like him, guys? Don't you want to be just like him? This is the left's answer to young men. You can destroy the left side of your house.
This new way to destroy America doesn't sound great, man. And all the MAGA people, oh, wow, it's a great idea. So, hey, you can destroy your house anytime. Because this is where we're at. We're out of food, basically, this weekend. Johnson backs Trump's plan not to tap contingency dollars for food aid ahead of funding cliff.
We're out of food? Bro, I just went to the grocery store and we got plenty of fucking food.
Again, 42 million people. They're going to blame the Democrats. They actually put this on the USDA website. I'll show you. This is actually on the government website, and they've been doing this a lot recently, the Trump people. It says, due to the radical left and Democrat shutdown, this government website will not be updated during the funding lapse. Remember, the government's still shut down. President Trump has made it clear he wants to keep the government open and support those who feed, fuel, and clothe the American people. I'm laughing, but it's like, we're at the point where seriously, we're going to run out of money this weekend. And they're putting crap on government websites. Okay, it's all the Democrats' fault, right? And again, it all boils down to, do you believe in Trump or not? That's what it boils down to. I think something's wrong with the guy. He's got an MRI. That's just a fact. Then you can decide, if you believe his explanation. But you're going to see this real-world ripple effects of Trump's policies. And look at this. Walmart set to lose billions from SNAP benefits stopping in November, right? This will have a ripple effect across the economy.
I thought leftists didn't like corporate welfare. Why are you concerned about Walmart losing billions of dollars? Isn't that good? We're going to own the corpos, dude. Own the billionaires. Make them pay their fair share. Oh, now we want to put money in billionaires and big corporations' pockets because that's what Trump doesn't want to do, dude.
People won't have food on the table. People won't go shopping, right? That'll affect businesses. And then, Trump's doing whatever he's doing with his MRIs. Trump says he's going to get an MRI during his Walter Reed visit. Let me read his explanation.
Why is he so obsessed over an MRI? It's probably just a regular fucking check. The president undergoes regular medical tests on a very frequent basis.
On the MRI thing. It's from Trump. Trump, 79, he's quite old, of course, didn't disclose the purpose of the MRI, saying it was only perfect. That's according to Trump. It was perfect. The White House previously said only Trump underwent advanced imaging during the evaluation. Okay. And this is more from Trump. I gave you full results. That's what he said. We had an MRI, and the machine, the whole thing. It was perfect. That's how he talks. And you guys know how he sounds, right? I think they gave you very conclusive. Nobody has ever given you reports like I gave you. And so I bring up the, depends on what you believe. And you kind of see we got basically alternate realities here. The headline over at Fox News, they're going to talk about Diddy and prisons and Charlie Kirk stuff and blame Biden and blame Mrmattyp because, Biden's not even in office anymore. So we'll go after Mrmattyp. No, seriously, that's what they're running over at Fox News, right? No mention about the food situation, which is going to affect a lot of Fox viewers. right? And that's going to be this weekend. No mention about the Trump or MRI. And then when you look over at the White House, they just retweet this stuff. This is actual, government stuff here. Destroy the flood.
That's so base.
Going nice, finishing the fight. And they got these people running around in guns. This is from the Halo video game. This is the government tweets. And then they got Trump dressed like Halo characters, and it's a video game. If you don't know the video game Halo, okay. And then they're celebrating getting rich with Argentina. No, seriously. Congrats to President Milei on a very successful midterm win. Milei has renewed mandate for change. Okay, great. And then our financial news is Argentina. If you invested in stuff down there, you're doing great. They're getting bailouts. They're winning elections, I guess. Argentina, go Argentina. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent signaled U.S. support for Milei on Monday, but did not refer to a financial package he promised that includes 20 billion U.S. credit line. Of course, you're not going to talk about it. You don't want to talk about that. You just want to promise to your friends and try to keep it on the DL.
Do you know what's funny about this? Is we literally made, I think, $4 billion in a day. Like the U.S. Treasury banked $4 billion in profit, giving this $40 billion to Argentina temporarily. Like we did a temporary cash injection into Argentina at I think a 10% rate. And within 4 days, I think it was, we got a return of I think $4 billion. Just basically over the weekend. So the U.S. government made money, and these people are complaining.
And another $20 billion in private sector support for Argentina's bond payments, okay? Quote, we look forward to continued steps to economic freedom that will attract private sector investment and job creators, bringing prosperity to the Argentine people. That's our news in USA is bailout.
Like basically Scott Bessent is using the Treasury as a way to just invest like an average investor would. He's basically using Treasury funds to play the market. And he's doing so in a way that the United States government gets the profit instead of himself. So it's actually really smart. Like, off that, hold on, let's see. Let's see. Stock profit. I think the stock value of AMD that they got was like 7.5 billion. Like the value has gone up. And then on top of that, every chip that Nvidia and AMD sells to China, the U.S. government gets a 15% cut of that as well. So not only are they making us money buying into companies in the United States, they're also making money on the sale of every single product from said companies. So, it's a different animal in charge now.
Argentina, Trump's got an MRI, and people don't have food this weekend.
We've got actual people in government who want to make money for the country, which is nice. That's why we're operating in a surplus for the first time in a while.
It's absolutely bonkers. And it goes back to, do you believe in Trump or not? Next, you got the Federal Workers Union. They just want to end to this shutdown, which I completely understand.
Fuck the federal workers, bro. Nobody cares.
We're in week 5.
Hey, has anyone's life changed significantly since the government shut down? Just a little random question. Has anyone noticed a dramatic change in their daily life since the government is shut down? I mean, obviously, if you're in the military or, maybe you work for the government, maybe, but... Anyone notice any, dramatic changes in their day-to-day life? What a travesty, man. I hope it stays shut down, honestly.
The longest shutdown in history, the first in the, you might call it the greatest, longest, shutdown was also by Trump, so he's got the top 2. I think he's going to try to break his record, in my opinion, but we'll see. This is a quote from them. This will be the Federal Workers Union. Both political parties have made their point, and there is no clear end in sight. It's time to pass a clean continuing resolution and end this shutdown. No half measures and no gamemanship. When the folks who serve this country are standing in line for food banks after missing a second paycheck because of the shutdown, they aren't looking for a partisan spin. They're looking for wages they earned. The fact that they're being cheated out of it is a national disgrace. I completely understand. That's why I tell you the workers' point of view here. I completely understand, right? And this is the craziest crap, though, is the Trump people. They just keep on firing yet more people. That's been their plan all along. Remember the whole Elon Musk stuff with Doge? That's their whole plan, is to fire people. So none of this stuff is surprising. What's surprising at this point is there's actually people who still believe Donald Trump. As your food benefit run out, as you're going to get fired, and everything is melting down, and they're celebrating getting rich in Argentina. And then you got the private sector. This was just announced a few minutes ago. Amazon targets as many as 30,000 corporate job cuts. I'm telling you, I have friends that work at Amazon. A lot of people work at Amazon. You may be working at Amazon or watching this to know about this. This was just announced, 30,000 corporate job cuts. And what's interesting is the numbers shake out to be similar to what Target just announced. And I'll read it. This is about, it says the figure represents a small percentage of Amazon said they hire a lot of people, 1.55 million total employees, but nearly 10% of the company's roughly 350,000 corporate employees. Okay. So it's a lot of corporate jobs. And in fact, if you look at Target, it's about the same. Target layoffs will hit 8%.
I would love to know what areas those corporate jobs are. They like in HR and all that type of bullshit. If so, you know, that's to be expected.
Of global corporate workforce, right? While the retail slashing jobs before holidays. These are definitely warning signs about the economy. Target laying off, Amazon laying off. Trump wants to.
Dude, honestly, the way I look at it right now is I think Trump should keep the government shut down for as long as possible. He should redirect the tariff revenue into key government institutions that actually need the money, like the military and certain benefit programs, and that's it. Like, that's it. Just shut it the fuck down. Because in reality, no one's life changes when most of these agencies shut down. And that is the simple fact. In fact, our life probably gets a lot easier. So, in theory, you could easily just basically take all the tariff revenue and direct it into like the military. Maybe if you want to do like disability payments and shit like that, then you could just use it for that. And who needs Congress at that point? You have your own cash flow coming in.
To lay off yet more federal workers, and we don't have enough money for food. And then when you look at our markets, what are we celebrating? We're celebrating, hey, Qualcomm is going to build chips to compete with NVIDIA. Stock goes up a whole bunch. And what's the whole point of Qualcomm and AI? What's the whole point? It's to replace you, the worker. Or you can make it the case that, well, since we're firing all of your coworkers, we'll give you an assistant, an AI assistant to save money. Seriously. And people don't talk about this enough. That's why I always bring it up. You have to understand how our economy is working and what's driving the markets. Here's a quote here from Qualcomm. We first wanted to prove ourselves in other domains. And once we built our strength over there, it was pretty easy for us to go up a notch into the data center level, right? It's all about data centers. I told you guys about this stuff many, many times. The entry of Qualcomm in the data center world marks new competition in the fastest growing market in technology. Equipment for new...
Oh, wait, it was already out of full screen. All right, I'm bored of this guy. It's always interesting sometimes to visit in on the TDS crowd. See. We already did watch Kino Casino. Oh, RTU? I don't have time for that. It's already 8 o'clock. I probably should go ahead and hop off anyway. I don't know. If there's something that jumps out, maybe we'll watch one more video, but it's getting close to me having to go to work anyway, so I gotta sign into the wage cage. That looked like a Minecraft screenshot at first. The Manny team with the 2. How's it going, man? Wow, bro, still awake. I'm about to go to work. Yep, I am too. But yeah, I'm still up.
this shit!
I'm still alive, man. And live. Dude, I tried to watch some of these videos, and they're just so upsetting. Like, it just makes me hate. Genuinely, it makes me hate. Oh my god. Bro, it's like infuriating. Like, genuinely, if maybe we'll watch one of these at some point. But like, I haven't watched this guy in a while because it genuinely just pisses me off. Dude, he does so much member-only content. Damn. But yeah, dude, this shit, like, I haven't watched it in a while. She blames MAGA for her debt. Maybe we'll have to watch that one. Maybe we'll have to watch that one. $500,000 in debt to be a failed OnlyFans model. Holy shit, man. This debt is gay. 160,000 of LGBT. Dude, this guy's got some great titles. Yeah, I watched him back in the day when he did his like boogie video. I don't remember how long ago. Yeah, over a year ago. That's when I primarily watched him. So about a year or so ago, I watched a bunch of his videos, and I had to stop because it just pissed me off. Like, more and more, it started pissing me off. And I try not to watch content that makes me genuinely hate. Because it's like, bro, I don't need to get even more pissed off with people. But yeah, maybe we'll watch some of that. Maybe we'll watch a few episodes of that, because, you know, I love finance stuff, and, you know, people are dumb, too, so. Why does it piss? Because it's just how stupid people are. Genuinely. It's very blackpilling. Bruh, they are doing this to us on purpose. Who's they? Raymond makes an appearance in the algorithm. We didn't even search for him and he showed up, so I guess he's got good recommendation placement. But anyway, I do need to hop off, guys. It's already past 8, so I gotta go submit my timesheet too before the system inevitably crashes close to 9 a.m. when everybody realizes they have to as well. So anyway, have a great Friday, everybody, and a very happy Halloween if you're celebrating. I'll be on later tonight, but yeah, I'll talk to everybody then, I guess. And peace out, everybody.